Hello, world, and welcome to IBM.TV World News coverage of the coronavirus 19 outbreak. I'm your host, Kimberly Calhoun, and today I'm starting off by myself without my dear, wonderful board members right now. It seems like some are without power. I had brought this up about a week ago. What's going to happen when people cannot get to work, especially the people who handle our utilities. They can't manage this service from home in most cases. So we do have a situation right now where we don't have anybody to join me today from around the world. Some of the things that we have learned from around the world is that things that have been happening to them 2 weeks later happens to us here in the United States. Some of the other impacts that we've been talking about are the financial impacts that have hit us very hard, as well as the impacts to our health. And we've had a lot of great discussions about how to sanitize our areas, what's very important, namaste, no more contact, how to refrain from contact, even bumping people, knuckle bumping, no. How to properly wash your hands. Let's talk about that. Dr. Sagu had joined us from India, which I don't think we're going to have anybody joining us from India today. He showed us that, you put your hands together and you get in between really well, right? And you twist like this so that you could get in the crevices. And then after you do that, you wash your hands really well. You do your thumbs. You do your back of your hands. As you notice, I'm not wearing my jewelry. I decided that it probably can't be properly cleaned enough. And so I'm no longer wearing my bracelets because I felt like that the contaminants would be on them. And folks, we have joining us one of our board members, Willie Hill from Australia, down under. Namaste, Willie.
Good morning.
You've got a great smile on your face today. Sure.
Yay. Always good to hear.
Oh,
always good to hear you and see you.
Oh, it's always good to see you. I think it's just I love our board members so much. And you have been with us maybe 2 years. I've known you for a long time.
Yes. And how have you been?
I've had a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Unlike most people who are like, wow, I'm home and I don't have anything to do. I work from home and I always have something to do. And so I can't stop and go clean out closets and cabinets or do spring cleaning because my work never stops. What about you?
I'm still at work. I finish up next week. That's just my contract with work.
Okay. How does that work? Share with us, because you're kind of an entrepreneur too, but share with us what you're doing.
The contract I have is with a flavors and fragrance place. So we make flavors and fragrances for we're a B2B businesses. So we make flavors for the ice cream factories and other big. We have a spray dry. Spray dry is we solidify liquids. And that finishes next week. Yay! Can't wait for that to happen.
What do you do? Because, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times if I get a contract, because sometimes I'll pick up a contract, maybe because it interests me,
yep.
Or I need the money. And so what do you do next?
I'm waiting to get into the projects that I have lined up.
You fill the pipeline, right? That's what we do. You fill the pipeline. You have more projects.
I've got 3 projects. I just registered 3 companies. Went to the bank, opened up the bank accounts. So that's what I'm working on.
So you're doing that today?
No, I did that yesterday. Yesterday. Went to the bank and got that done.
Is the banks open on Sundays?
This is Tuesday here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. I forget we're a day off, and you're up at 1 in the morning. I'm up at 10 in the morning. I mean, and I appreciate you coming on board, because some of the coolest things that we've discovered, is sometimes things that happen to you with this, pandemic that we're dealing with. Eventually it ripples to us. And so we've been able to get a heads up, understand some things. But the good ripple that I'm learning about is you guys had a breakthrough recently on one of the drugs that seems to be making an impact against the virus. Are you aware of this?
Yes, I've just read it briefly, but I haven't read too deeply about it. Really did not do it thoroughly. I just saw it as a glance because I'm sort of looking at the numbers. Let me get an update of what's happening here in Australia.
Okay. Do you want to share it? Can you share the screen?
Can I share the screen?
So if you go down to share screen and then you select, okay. And then once you do that, I'll let you enter.
Okay. Share screen. With 2 monitors. Is that the one on top?
What? Yep. So sometimes I have to go to my applications window and find which one I want.
Okay. Share. Your entire screen. Application window. Chrome tab. StreamYard coronavirus. Share.
So we received a testimony this morning about that drug working. The gentleman was saying goodbye to his family, almost dying. And in 2 days, he's back up and walking around after having received the drug. We just have not approved the drug in the United States. Let's take a look at the screen. Oh, there we go. There's our update for Australia, folks.
Yep.
Share with us, Willie, what's going on.
That's the Australian Capital Territory. That's Canberra. And I'm just looking at these numbers, and we've just gone up so much. Look, 1,709. Victoria, the last time, like a week ago, when I sort of had a chat with you guys, it was Victoria had 111. I mean, look at the numbers now. It's 355.
Wow.
It's just skyrocketed. Northern Territory 2-3 days ago didn't have anybody. Now we've got 4. New South Wales is just over the top. They've got like 704.
What is in Australia? Because in America we have this problem, but do you have enough test kits? What's the word?
Okay. Test kits. I'm not too sure about that. I haven't read that up. Okay. How do I get out from here again?
You can
stop the share.
Oh, if you want to stop the share, I'll stop it. That's interesting, because this is something we talked about recently. Just because they made it stay home yesterday, one day, doesn't mean that's going to drop.
Absolutely.
And we know that after one thing, when they test you, it's 10 days before they get that result. So we're seeing the results from 10 days ago, not from today. The death rates are from today, but the actual results of the test of who has the coronavirus takes about 10 days. So we've heard about the rapid test. Please don't buy them on the black market or online. Buy them from your doctors. The CDC approved labs are selling them to the doctors only. But what else is going on there? Australia has been very proactive on the research. It would be interesting to understand, but you guys have really been on this. You've been trying to crack the code. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes, I've seen a lot of progress in that aspect. I will admit that I haven't been looking at that. I've been sort of focused more on the data. I'm a big fan of data. I'm sort of looking, okay, because the data will tell me where exactly we are.
Right. So
And
you're right. Data is very, very important. We need to be collecting it and
yes,
researching it as much as we're researching.
as much as we can.
Right,
Yep.
because data is going to help us find the trail of where this
Yes.
came from. Dr. Sagu had shared with us, as well as a few other doctors that have been on the show, that zootonic, they think that this is transmitted from animal to human.
Yep.
The more I think about this, because they say that it grows, they thought hot environments, it became more resistant. But
Okay.
and if that's the case, maybe it's a cold-blooded animal that's carrying it without affecting the animal itself. I think that that all of that is just kind of crazy to think about, because our bodies are a host, and
Yep.
it grows in our bodies, and our bodies are 98.6 degrees. So how can we say that it's resistant in the hotter environments?
Yep.
I would like that a little bit better researched. Not that I'm a doctor by any means, but I am
Yep.
a scientist in many ways. I'm a troubleshooter for problems. And these are the questions I ask myself. The first question I ask myself is, what does it do to the body? Why are they so afraid of this spreading versus the other flus? There's got to be something wrong here. And so I went out to find articles about what actually happens to the human
Mm-hmm.
body.
Yep.
And when, there's not many articles about this, and they don't discuss it. They just discuss preventive measures, which is very good.
Yes.
But
Yes.
unfortunately, we're past a lot of the preventive measures. We didn't take them fast enough, extreme enough. So now we need to say, what do we do to treat ourselves at home? Because many people have it. They won't be able to test for it. So there's got to be some kind of treatments that we can do at home. We've seen some successes, some recoveries, some high rates of recoveries. Are they just happening in the hospital? At what point do we call for help? Because they're telling us, don't come to the doctors, because by the time you have the symptoms, it's too late. You're contagious. Are they saying that in Australia too?
The same thing. Yeah. And they're also advocating when you go out from your house and when you get back home, make sure you wash immediately. Have a bath, take the clothes that you had on, get it washed.
Yeah, that's something people don't think about. Your clothes contracted.
Yes.
Take them off. I mean, this is something we learn in containment labs. As soon as we take off our suits, if they're disposable, we throw them away.
Yep.
If they're not, they get, treated. Something else we learned yesterday in Hong Kong, they're still a big advocate of the masks, but it's more for preventing what you have spreading to others as much as it
Yes.
is catching what others have. We know all of the rules with masks, that because of it, you're putting your hand to your face. There are rules and disciplines to clean your hands before you do this.
Yes.
And if this does have contaminations on it, then put a glove on your hand, remove it, right?
Yes.
There are proper ways. Also, your eyes, right? We've learned even back in 1918 when they had the flu, your eyes can contract whatever virus is going on. And I learned years ago, the eye ducts take things straight to the digestive system, into the stomach. Oh my gosh, we got Ankit. So Ankit has been having problems, but let's say good morning. Namaste.
Good morning, Anchor.
Good
Good.
morning, everyone.
Oh, no,
Morning,
namaste. Good
morning.
evening to you. What's going on there, Ankit?
Life is a little difficult, but things are moving on.
Okay.
We all are fighting with the virus and hoping for a good news. So let's see how it goes.
Okay. So share with us what's happening. Some of the things that are happening in your environment. Willie shared with us the stats in Australia, and they're still going up, like way up. We're not going to see that change for a long time.
Absolutely.
So here also, things are growing fast now, and we are getting at least 50 plus cases every day. That is on records. And government is trying to, do some kind of packages and help the community. And but people are not listening, and they are not helping to make the lockdown. I don't know why they want to go out of street and they want to do the regular routine. And this is not the right time to do also.
We've got the same problem here, Ankit. It's like they're self-entitled, or they don't believe. The other problem I have is maybe if they were more transparent. This is not like the flu. Everybody here goes, "Oh, more people die from the flu." Well, people die from the flu because they don't hydrate their bodies enough. You can die from dehydration. Yeah. And dehydration can happen very fast. I'm going to have a friend join us maybe tomorrow. He died on the football field from dehydration. As he said, I drank water, I played football, but his body's still dehydrated too fast. And people don't understand, your body goes into shock, organs shut down. But people aren't taking this serious, I think, because they haven't been transparent with us about what this does to the human body. And it does it in days, in weeks, right? In 4 weeks. In 4 weeks is too late. By the time you see the symptoms, it's too late.
It's too late. Absolutely.
And, fortunately, though, a few people were alerted, kind of like, your red flag now. I got sniffles. Should I be scared? Right? So you're paying attention. I got a fever. Oh my gosh, what should I do? And it's not over panicking or being paranoid, but they thought ahead and they were able to get tested and found out they did, in fact, have COVID-19. The problem with some states here in America, we've got testimony where people would go and get tested. They were pushing them away and scared of them, and the tests were getting lost. So we had lost tests. We had no direction whatsoever. People who were sick with it had no direction on what to do to comfort them and show them how to get through this. And I think that is what has been wrong. First things first, drink a lot of water. And if you're too sick, drop it. Use little drops of water into your body. Yeah. And suck on ice if you have access to ice. Some places don't. But nonetheless, little droplets of water, a little at a time, until your body can get back to normal. Learn about the BHI, Body Hydration Index. This is very, very important, people, because if you lose your hydration, but there are products out there. We learned the difference between sports drinks and energy drinks. Sports drinks are more healthier for the BHI. You want things that are going to last longer in the body. They say milk lasts longer. Beer is one of the higher indexes. It's going to be 12. Yeah. I hope Dr. Sagu can join us, but Dr. Sagu, he's always inspiring healthier habits, right?
Yes.
He's inspiring.
I've invited Dr. Sagu's wife today. She's also a doctor. She's a cancer surgeon. So I'm not sure, whether she'll be able to join or not, but I've invited a couple of doctors. So let's see.
Okay. So, we have to respect their time, because they are very busy, regardless of what kind of doctors we have out there. There are so many out there just trying to help out. There are doctors who help control things. There are doctors who help do research, labs. They're just not health doctors. But the hospitals, they're sending out a message. It's on the CDC as well, but don't come here if you're sick.
True.
Please, you're contaminating everyone, including our staff. So please stay home and call in. They've got phone evaluations set up. I know that the phones are overloaded, so I'm not calling for my problems.
Yeah.
We need to be respectable too in cases of emergencies. This was a problem that we had to deal with when I worked in the telecom industry and even owned a phone company. When there's an emergency, don't call in unless you desperately need to, because the threshold of any network can get taken down by an overload. And people, yeah, you want to talk to your loved ones, but now we got so much technology, we can do that without calling. And
Yeah.
so leave those phone lines open specifically for emergencies and medical. We're going to have an EMT join us today that's going to share with us some practical sense of how to deal with things. But Ankit, share with us the stats. Are you able to share with us the
Yeah.
stats?
I'll just say.
Okay.
In the meantime, can you share the facts about New York, because New York is way upper than all other states in US, and I think it's time to lock down the at least the northern the
Yeah,
area.
New York City, is like any major city, and it's not the only one struggling. But they call it the epicenter of the corona pandemic because it apparently now has more confirmed than any of the small countries. It's the highest confirmed rates in all of the United States, but that's to be expected because of if you've ever been to New York, you can't move without touching somebody. There is no distancing. And it's probably like that in India and some places, just like it is in Australia. You can't move in a city. This is why I was thinking, just get out. Maybe now I could drive around, get some fresh air. But distancing is very, very important. And people don't even know how to distance in driving, right? You got people who bumper to bumper. So you're not even 6 feet away from them that way, right? So, but Ankit, while you share your statistics, I'll pull up New York.
Sure. So currently, we have around 15,000 people died so far.
How
And
much?
15,000.
Wow, we doubled over the
Yep.
weekend.
We doubled over the weekend.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! So we are going to see this go up. We are
So
going to.
yeah, and I think at a global scenario, we are at stage 3, and we have to take it as a global, because we can't say that India is at stage 2 and US is at stage 3 and China is at stage 4 and whatever it is. We have to collectively say that it's stage 3 and it's a wartime, and we have to take all the required precautions. And you see that the best part is that we have good recoveries as well. This is the best part, but still we have a long way to go. And if I go into the details about the breakup country-wise, so we have China with reporting 9 new cases, 9 deaths, and 39 new cases. Uh, Italy there is no report about Italy because we know that Italy is completely locked down. So we don't have much report from Italy, but we know that the situation is very difficult. And I got a video from one of the Italians, and they were in a very panic situation. They are struggling to be at home because they are so scared. So they don't know whether they are, if it's in lockdown situation, they are isolated and quarantined at home. Still, they are not safe. That's the situation in Italy. And in US, the cases are like zooming like anything. We have 1,575 new cases with 39 deaths. And if I'll just quickly break up the USA into multiple states, so you know that, I mean, 75% of the cases are from New York. And last week, you know that there was no cases in New York. I mean, very few cases, but now we have 16,900 cases in New York alone.
So they keep talking about shutdown, but people aren't listening. You think that they would have shut everything down when the stock market dropped to nothing and just forced everybody to stay home. But our politicians have this anti-panic button that they don't use, and they refrain because they don't want to look like they over panicked. I wish they would have over panicked. Like Nick said, panic is good. So keep going. That's devastating.
So New York is struggling. I think New York is completely locked down, and I was listening to the governor as well that he was struggling and urging everyone to stay calm and stay at home, don't go outside. But people are not ready to listen. Washington is still stagnant and static with 95 deaths and no new reports. New Jersey is growing because of New York. It's very close by, and we have one new death and 21 deaths so far. And there was a family in New Jersey where they have around 5 deaths, and 4 of them are isolated and quarantined right now because they are COVID positive in one
Wow.
family in
One
New Jersey.
family.
Yeah. California is again with 35 deaths and 47 new cases, and California is completely locked down. And I think California was one of the initial states in US who started the work from home and avoiding the public traffic in the transit and all those things. And now you can see the cases are in coming up in Texas, Georgia, Connecticut, North Carolina with 36 new cases. So you must be having more reports about it.
We've got a high rate for some reason. I think it's because we're stupid, but keep going. Because here's what bothers me. They canceled a lot of events here, the big events, and then they let a big concert go, and somebody who went was infected. So, you can't do for some and not for others. I kept asking, why are you letting this concert continue when there's going to be, and it was a concert where mostly younger people go to. Maybe that's why they thought, it's not going to affect anybody, but it did. And, you got all of that big mass of people in one location when you knew not to do this. They had canceled hockey, basketball, all of the sporting events, all of the college events. They were shutting down the colleges and sending kids home. And then they let this concert happen. Where's the brain? Where's the brain?
I don't know.
So keep going. Keep going.
So, like, we have 42 cases in Mississippi, and then 38 in Missouri, Colombia with 18 cases. So I think cases in different states are also growing somehow because of not following the rules. And strictly no rules means no rules. We have to stay at home at any cost if we want to stay alive. I mean, that should be the priority right now.
I mean, all too often, every one of us go, I wish I could stay home another day. And I know it's not because you're sick, but most of us aren't sick yet. And if you stay home and and a friend of mine and I were talking about this yesterday, she works at a bank. If we just lock it down for 4 weeks, we'll control it. But right now it's almost too late, because when you look at the demographics or a tree of when, how many people touch people each day, it's kind of like our social media, right? Yeah. Our social network. And there, I think we could track people with the data of where they've been and really learn where this originated from, but also learn, okay, this person was in this store, that store, this, and all these different places that day. And you can collect that data and figure it out. Are you in the dark again, Ankit?
Yeah, I'm in the dark again.
So what's going on? Share with us what's going on in your...
I mean, it must be because very few people are at work, so might be some maintenance issue. So we are not panic, and I think it will come up. So it's not a big thing. It's the important report is that we have to save humanity. These small things we have to bypass. So think about the future and think about what we can do. If you go down with Spain, that, I mean, Spain is every day they are reporting more than 3,000, 4,000 cases. So wow. Spain is, I don't know, I mean, it's stage 3 or whatever it is, but it's a difficult situation. And Spain is going the same way what happened in Italy. And I think because of Italy, whole of the Europe, you can see all the European countries, they are in a bad situation. So you can say Spain with
they have very high numbers.
Germany 2,000, 1,400 in Iran. Then we have France, and France is all completely locked down. But these are people who got symptoms after a week or so. So that's what they are reporting right now. Korea still doing a lot of things. Korea is trying to sanitize the whole country, but still they have cases growing every day. Switzerland, you remember there were no cases in Switzerland last week, and now we have around 8,500 cases in Switzerland. So likewise, you can see Netherlands, Belgium, Norway, each and every country in Europe is growing with more cases every day, and then more deaths so far.
Right.
And
I mean,
for Australia is also reporting 100 around cases.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
around total
The numbers
17.
have doubled.
Yeah. So
wow.
numbers will double, and then once they double, it will be triple, and then so on and so forth.
Easy,
Because
very
because
easy.
that's how the
Yeah.
community, panic is, and
Yeah.
we have to act like stage 3. We can't say that it's stage 2, stage 3, whatever, because the situation is difficult, and we can't let them grow like this. Basically, I don't know why people. I mean, the politicians are not taking the right decisions to lock out and lock down. This is not a time to earn profit and loss and capital and whatever it is. And to my surprise, no one is ready to, I mean, start manufacturing these ventilators and the things which is required for a patient who is a COVID positive and who wanted to survive and who can go to rehab for COVID. I mean, I'm surprised that there is no, I mean, it's nothing is going on the ground zero basically.
So, and here's the problem I have, and the politicians should be smart enough to know this. But all the stats we have today, Willie and I were talking about this, are 10 days past due because it takes about 10 days for the test results to get back. So the death rates are accurate for today, but the stats for how many people actually have this are about 10 days late. So the
Yeah.
politicians right now, they actually have the upper hand because they're not being transparent with us on how many tests have been made. But they can take the data of how many they've issued out today, and in 10 days later, they're going to know how many people have it. They're not stupid, but they're not transparent. And they need
Yes.
to tell us this, but they're not telling us this. They're saying the stats are 10 days late, people. Let's wake up, you know? Let's really be transparent about this.
And that 10-day window is why we have high numbers.
Right.
And the
Right.
10-day, that's where the
In
high
10
numbers
more
come from.
days, and the other problem I have is, in 10 more days, all of this is going to be skewed because we don't have enough test kits
Yes.
to do that. We do have rapid test kits that are being issued out to the rest of the world, but we know that just tests the antibodies. But it is a first stage, right? So we can start collecting data, isolate people properly, treat people properly. But in the beginning stages, right? But even if we overreact a little bit at this point, that's better than dealing with the possibilities, what the future of this can bring us, right?
We had a situation yesterday, because that would be Monday here in Australia, where the Prime Minister was saying one thing, and there's 6 states in Australia, and the Victoria State governor was saying a totally opposite. The Prime Minister was saying, yes, schools are still open, and the state head was saying, no, as of 3 p.m. today, the schools are closed. So we had two opposing, contradicting pieces of information, which got a lot of people. One thing that's very important at this point in time is certainty. People need certainty.
We need direction.
Close.
And also to avoid the fake news. Actually, we have to avoid the fake news. There are a lot of fake news on WhatsApp and different medias, and I mean that is also a source of panicking. And we have to rely on reliable resources and look for a solution rather than creating more problems, and stay at home. That should be the
well, and there's a lot of false news out there, and this is what I tell people. We have to be very careful because we are reporting news. But there is so much false news out there. Like, there was a report out there where the company started 3D printing the mask that is helping the. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were that they were being sued for printing the mask. That is not the truth. The company that owns the patent is okay with them. They did have a conversation and said, we cannot share our patent drawings with you, but if you can print it, but there was no, we're going to sue you. People, they're actually, the real company that owns the patent is actually giving away a lot of the masks to help with the pandemic situation. The people who were printing it was just, 3D printing this particular mask was because they needed them. They weren't getting them shipped fast enough. And so everybody is in this together. Nobody is suing anyone right now that we're aware of. The other news that we've heard of, and I don't know, Ann, it'd be great to get some doctors on to talk about this, and I will see if I can get Heidi on to help out. But there has been a lot of news spread about the malaria drug having great quick results on healing the people with COVID. Not really healing, but just recovering them. Again, people don't understand that what's happening to their bodies once you get COVID. You need to go out to the National Geographic article. I'll keep posting it. That article shares with you the breakdown inside the body of what happens when it enters and it goes into the lungs and then into the rest of your body. It turns it into a honeycomb in the lungs because it's got spikes and it tears at the lungs. And if you have a low immune system, your body will not be able to flush it out properly. And this is why Dr. Sugu keeps telling us, practice good practices, right? Wash your hands, make sure, we stay home, clean our areas, surroundings really well, but also keep our immunity system up. Hydrate, vitamins. People, there are a lot of fresh produce out there that's going to rot and go bad if we don't eat it. Go to the store, stock up, or have it shipped to you. Call them and say, bring it to me. Or wait for you outside holding a bag of it. Because, some stores will do that. You can call them and tell them what you want, and they will have it pre-bagged and hand it to you. But there are many ways that we can build our immune system. But one of the things he mentioned that I don't think anybody really listens to is exercise, right? And you know what? We can do a lot of these exercises at home. There are great things that you can do. You can do jumping jacks, run in place,
burpees, like stand, drop, squat.
You don't need a lot of space to do a lot of this. Go out and get a little bit of sunshine on the head, right? Because smile. The endorphins we get from smiling is amazing. And it's a facelift. It's a cheap facelift. This is what I tell everybody. My mom used to tell me the best facelift in the world is a smile. And she was probably, she was very, very poor, God love her. And the doctors told me she had one of the most beautiful skins they've ever seen. And she, they kept calling me after she died from the morgue. They kept calling me going, what did your mom use on her skin? It's beautiful. It's perfect. She's 76 when she died. And I'm like, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me, because she didn't have money for skincare, but she drank a lot of water, which is good. Yeah. And she smiled a lot. She carried the blessing of life in her every day. She didn't have a lot. And she had a lot of problems and worries like everybody else, but she just, she chose to smile. And I see you guys, when you call in, you're smiling no matter what's going on.
She had a happy disposition.
Right. I think that's what I love about our board of advisors anyway, is that we're from all over the world, and we all have great blessings in our lives, and we share the good stuff, the positive. There's a lot of bad going on. We're going to see the numbers going up. What is your thoughts on the numbers going up in India, Ankit?
Numbers will certainly grow. But I don't want them. But it looks like, because of the bad habits, or because of not following the rules. Because the problem is not that I am following the rules, or my family, or my community, or my staff, or my people are following. If one person is also outside, that is also that is also let us grow the numbers. Because I was reading somewhere that if you are isolating and stay at home as well, but for utilities you go out to buy something, and that is also where you'll get those viruses. So I think the number will definitely grow, but I hope that we can be able to control the numbers, because we are doing a lot of steps with government and all the things, and then we have started the private testing as well. So once the testing kit will be available on all the private hospitals, I think we get the reports on time, and we are expecting around the reports in 2 days. So we have Dr. Gulati with us today, and he is the famous popular dental surgeon in Delhi, and he will also share his feedback and his concerns about the coronavirus and how they are treating the patients. Dr. Gulati.
Namaste. Many blessings for a brighter future, Dr. Valabi.
Hi
Thank
all.
you for joining us.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. So we are just trying to follow nowadays, huh? So amidst of this difficult situation, we are, all trying hard. Our people, our government, take care of, everything well. Till now, the situation is a little in control, and probably if we lock down everything and we try to get into a proper discipline, I think we can really, escape the situation well. So the precautions what we were trying at least 2 days before when our clinics were open, like we were following the protocols in a sense, like the patients were entering, we were telling them to remove the shoes, sanitizing their hands. We were testing their temperatures with the thermometer. So everything is locked up. So I think we need to be patient,
Yeah.
isn't
So,
it, Mr. Ankit?
Dr. Galati, I agree with you. Thank you for joining us. Can you share with some of us, because this is not something that we're really getting enough of? I'm scared, if I am somebody at home and self-isolating, I'm scared. I don't know what to do if I have it. Can you give us some self-treatments and ideas that we can do at home if we do
Ma'am,
have it,
your
so we're not
voice is
in the
cracking.
hospital?
Your voice is cracking, ma'am. I'm unable to hear it.
Ankit, can you ask him?
I didn't get the question.
I am.
Okay, people are scared. And we're being asked to stay home, not come to the hospitals if we're sick. What can we do at home if we're sick for self-treatment? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're just asking about the precautionary say what we can do at home if we are not, able to. The hospitals are not able to take us up, right? I think this is the
Right.
question from you.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, I think the precautionary measures are the best thing which are right now, which most of people can do because right, even at home also people need to quarantine from each other. If somebody is coming from outside, uh, you know, uh, 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 clicking the doorbells with the just trying to avoid the door handles, getting into this like with pushing with your elbow and then getting into the home, washing yourself, cleaning yourself, and these are all the precautionary measures which we can take probably with the natural things like turmeric and all, which I could hear all from the TV, which is actually true also. We can the turmeric is a very good immune booster. Many other things like garlic, like detoxified water, which is of lemon and water, that mixture, which we can use, and probably I think these are the things which we can really work upon, and yeah, that's it.
Well, that's
I
that's a lot.
I really don't I the medical professionals are she's the this thing is gone, yeah. So I think the medical professionals in Delhi are, they've come with the medicines which is HCQ, hydrochloroquine, which can be taken as a preventive measure, but that should be taken only and only by the consultation of the doctor. Which is proven to be a very good precautionary and preventive measure. Yeah.
What are the hospitals like right now? Can you give it? I mean, has it been overwhelming with people coming in?
Sorry, I'm unable to hear you.
So, has it been overwhelming at the hospitals? Are
What are the
Overwhelming. In
Yes,
what
has it been
sense?
overwhelming?
what are the situations at hospitals and clinics right now? Are people visiting the clinics and hospitals?
The voice is cracking. Can you repeat, Ankit?
Okay.
Doctor, are patients visiting the hospitals regularly, or there's a gap in between, and people who have emergency they are already visiting? What's the situation in hospital?
Yeah. The thing is, in the private hospitals, they've already the emergency situations. The urgent surgeries are being taken up. Especially the private hospitals I'm talking about, the elective surgeries which are, they've just postponed it. And especially our prime minister has said, as he has said, that we have to be very careful. Only people who have genuine problems, they should be taken to the hospital, and people who feel that they should be tested with all these things, or maybe some other urgent procedures, they should be
Yeah.
tested with this. Otherwise, everybody should be at home. If you have a real issue of of this having some ailment, you should go and you should maybe talk to your general physician, talk to your dentist, talk to a person who's like who's a knowledgeable and a real concerned person. But
Yeah.
as far as the real situation is concerned, I think everybody is trying to avoid going to the hospitals if it is not an urgent thing.
Okay. And what's your
Yeah.
suggestion for people with the dental problems? I mean, what kind of extra care they have to follow while the COVID situation around the world? Because we have viewers from around the world.
Ah,
Kim from USA, Willie is from Australia, and we have a lot of viewers around the world. So they wanted to know that how and what kind of precaution they will take, not seeing a doctor right now, and still they can take care of the teeth.
uh-huh. Ankit, thank you for this relevant and a very good question. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you for this. Well, amidst of this situation, thank you. I had put a question, a short video on this, telling 3 4 days back, which was like, when you have a real difficult problems, when the dental pain is a pain which is a tooth is a basically a closed chamber. So when there is a pain, there is a hell lot of pain. So what you can, there are 2 3 things which you can take care of, is like when you have a sensitivity, you should apply that hypersensitivity toothpaste, which is anti-sensitivity toothpaste, which are good pastes are available in the market, like Colgate PR, Sensodyne, Rapid Relief, the Vantage, Senkulef. There are enough number of good pastes which you can apply, which you can just take a pea size of the paste and you can apply on that particular area and then leave it throughout for the night, and you can wash it off in the morning. This is number one. Number one is taking care of your sensitivity. The other thing is you should when you have swollen gums, you have bleeding gums, when you have pain in your gums, you can have that warm saline. You can do warm saline rinses probably 3 4 times in a day. Like you can just take a lukewarm water, full glass of lukewarm water, half a spoon of half a spoon of this salt. You can take it and you can mix it, and probably you can do the rinses for 3 4 times at least. So these are 3 4 2 3 basic things, very basic things, which you can follow. I'm sure these are the only hard dental emergencies which a person comes across. And of course, when there is a pain, you should only you should always consult a physician. Then you can probably take a general medicine, which is crocin or paracetamol and all. So this is a little short piece of advice I would like to give you guys for this.
Oh, greatly appreciated. Those little tips help all of us not panic, right? Just don't panic. Take care of yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what are your
right.
other,
Very true. Very true.
and dehydration is probably the biggest cause of some of the deaths. We need to hydrate ourselves very well, correct? We should stay
Yeah,
hydrated,
true.
like you
Very
said.
true. You should stay properly hydrated. Very true. Very true. And keep checking
So
your
what do you
temperature.
think?
Keep checking your.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can just gas your lungs. Maybe I was just studying it through my surgeon friends and some breathe in for some seconds. And if it is because you have 30 40 seconds of lung capacity to hold the air. So probably you can do it. You can try testing it throughout the day, maybe after some short interval of time. times, put the air in, then wait for 20-30 seconds, and then you can, just gasp it out. So even a corona patient would not be able to do it even more than for 3 seconds. So this is a very basic testing method, which can maybe probably can test it few times a day, if I mean, just checking if the person is all right.
So the we Ankit keeps fading in and out.
I think yeah, I think Ankit has just uh I think Mr. Ankit has just the voice is breaking, it is cracking up.
A little bit. So, can I ask you, what would you like to see from our leaders to help control this? As a doctor, as a physician, what can we ask our leaders to do for you? What do you need?
See, the need of the hour is a complete shutdown, a complete lockdown, because even fortunately, unfortunately, people, developed countries like Italy, America, China, they also did it, but they understood this thing in a later stage of the, probably when the phase 3, phase 4 of the disease had come. So probably at that time they realized it. But I think need of the hour is complete shutdown. There should be a complete no to each and everything. So that is, even our prime minister, our big leaders are urging to the people. So that is the need of the hour.
And they need to communicate and be more transparent, I think, to the people. How do you have any results of how bad? Are there any permanent damages from the recovered people? Is this causing permanent damages to the human body? Do we have results yet medically?
I don't think so. I think repercussions are yet to come, unfortunately. With this, the long-term, the impacts of the disease are yet to come. But as far as the things are concerned, for the active problem, we can just take care of ourselves by, this way.
I think we need to, like you said, shut down. I think that's going to help you control it and contain it. Are there enough tests at your facility? Do y'all have enough tests that you can continue testing people?
Yeah, of course. There are the tests which are always available, on a primary level, on a secondary level,
Good.
which can be really, if public is aware and, they have these symptoms, initial symptoms, and they go to the hospital or the pathological labs, and they can get the things checked probably, So at the right stage, if you go to the hospitals or to the labs, you can, rightly get things diagnosed on a right time. Most priority at this time, I think so.
Wow. Yeah. So, what are some of the things you are finding or hearing about that have the best recovery impact? What are some of the things that you're discovering or they're
I
discovering? What is the
I'm
one
unable
thing
to
that
get
is
your
having
voice.
the best?
Your
Sorry.
voice is cracking up.
We need a direct connect, a tin can
Yeah.
and string. Um, what is one thing you find is helping patients the most? More
Um,
fluid, respiratory,
yeah,
ventilators.
of course. Yeah. There's a simple rule. When there is a viral infection, you have to have the influx of, too much of fluid, the water, the electrolytes, and everything. You really need to have a good flow of the fluids, which really takes care of the things which are lost, the imbalance of electrolytes and everything which happens in the body. So this is the basic minimum thing which is required.
And I liked your idea of if your gums are swelling, if you're not feeling well, rinse well, right?
Yeah,
We need to
yeah,
keep our hands away from our face, right? We need to have better
Yeah.
practices. Even just your daily routine, keep your daily routine, brush your teeth, keep everything clean, keep your
Yeah.
hands clean. All of
Yeah.
these things are very,
Very true.
very
Very true.
right. They're
Yeah.
all
These are
very
the
important.
basic. These are the Yeah, these are the basic primary things which can, which can be taken care of
Yes.
just by, yeah, just having a proper clean brush, of course, and having a good paste, having a good mouthwash, having a proper floss system, which makes sure that the food doesn't get stuck in your mouth. So these are quite basic things, which can be really taken care of. As far as a dentist, I can just give you this a little piece of advice. So this is probably some people say that they have a food lodgement at at a particular area in mouth. So you can use the interproximal brushes, the flosses, the floss threads, which comes the floss sticks. So these are the things, yeah.
So, what are your thoughts as a medical profession on the use of masks? We have such a wide range of opinion. Um, I, in Hong Kong, they're strongly recommending the masks. There's so much that goes on from here, our respiratory out. What is your opinion on the use of masks?
I'm really sorry, I'm not getting you
Oh,
properly.
and Kit, can you help me?
The voice is cracking. Yeah, the voice is cracking
So,
actually. Yeah.
Rati, we would like to know that. I mean, do you suggest mask for everyone or for patients only? And what do you think about the mask? Can we protect
No, no, no.
ourselves by
I
wearing the mask?
Yeah. See, till the time the problem as far as the situation is in still stage 2 according to WHO. So that means we have not reached a stage 3, which is like, the virus is not airborne. The virus is not in the air. So the putting the mask will not really help you. A person who's really sick, or
We lost
or
him.
thinks the person is sick. Yeah. So the person thinks that, the person thinks that the person is, I mean, from inside, the person thinks that he or she is, affected with the corona, should wear the mask. Or if you have some doubts, early doubts that you are, affected with the disease, should be wearing the mask. Otherwise, there is no need to put the mask, because another issue with the mask is, I tell you, Mr. Andy, that, in India, people are not, they use the same mask repeatedly. The old mask, which is 3 year, 2 year, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you singly use mask. So you are going outside, you are getting the grocery done, you are going a hell lot of places, and taking things. So that mask also becomes dirty, and it is infected from the other, if not the viruses, then the bacteria or the other things.
Oh, that's a good
So
point.
I
I
think,
didn't. Very good point. Very good point. Disposable anyway. I use sanitary wipes on mine, and I wipe my mask
yeah,
down with disinfectant. I have my mask, so see.
yeah, perfect,
I
perfect,
don't. I
perfect.
don't
Yeah.
trust. I don't go anywhere. I stay home. Um, I
So
think
that is
that's
the
the
best
best
thing,
thing.
which,
Right? I stay home. Um, if I need something, I'll call and order it. They can bring it here. I'm not
yeah,
having my food cooked by restaurants. I'm cooking at home.
yeah.
Cleaning really well at home. Um, there are just so many practices we can do. I still feel like I not doing everything I need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, true, very, very true. Yeah, true.
And how has this impacted you right now? How has this impacted your practice and the people?
Well, I think since everybody is locked down, everything is shut down, so every person, rich, poor, poorest, or a middle class person is affected, really affected with all these, with the adversity. Maybe probably we are in such a misery that nobody is really knowing what is gonna happen, until what time it is gonna happen. So we are keeping patient. We are compassionate towards people. Hope God will listen to us and things are gonna be okay soon.
That's what and this is what I tell people. Just because we shut down one day doesn't mean it goes away. And the rates
Yeah,
are
true.
not
We
going to
should be
drop.
optimistic and positive about life. Yeah,
We have to wait.
perfect.
We have to be patient. We have to
Yeah,
shut down for a
yeah,
couple of days, a week, 2 weeks. Then
yeah.
we'll start seeing,
Very true.
right? But everybody goes, oh, I stayed
Very true.
home today. I stayed home today. It should be over. It's more than one day. It's many days.
Yeah. It's many days, and we should be hopeful towards life, and we should be cooperating towards each other. See, I always say this that it is not about it is not about you who's having a good immunity. Probably you can be a carrier, and you can pass it on to a person who's having low immunity, like your parents, or probably children you are having at your home, small little kids. So you should be understanding enough and cooperate in this peril of life.
I agree.
This
I
is what I
agree.
would want to say. This
No, I agree
so
because
this
it's not just
isn't it,
about
Ankit?
us.
I was I was just telling her that it is not about us. It is all about our parents and the lovely children, or who are having relatively low immunities as compared to us. So if you're not thinking about yourself, we should at least think about them, and should get locked at home, and not try to become a hero at this particular time at least.
But I think so. I
Yeah,
mean, we have to extend from our family, and we have to talk about the extended family, because we can protect
yeah,
us, but we have to protect our neighbors as well. Because if the
yeah.
neighbors are
Very
not
true.
safe, we are
Very
not
true.
safe. And we don't have to think,
Very
because
true.
I was reading a lot of news, and every country is talking about that we have lockdown, we have this, we have that. It's not about we as a
Yeah,
country, it's about we as a global world. Because if one country is affected from something, it will affect the whole world.
yeah.
So I think to unite and
True.
work together
Very
rather than
true.
work alone and
Yes.
do the lockdowns alone. So it should be collective effort, and I think there should be I mean, this could be the first time that there should be a recorded press conference or live press conference with all the big leaders,
Yeah.
and
So
then
that
we can see
so
their
that people
opinion.
become aware.
Yeah,
So that people
then
become
only they will
aware.
take
More
things
and more
seriously.
people. Yeah. Very
So it
true.
started from one province, and now it's affected to more than 150 countries, and in just a
Yeah.
matter of 3 months. So I mean, we have to take it
Yeah.
seriously.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Kim? I mean, what kind of, can we arrange some kind of show with the strong leaders, and we can share some kind of, lockdown news across the globe?
Yeah, so let's discuss some of the things that are going across, politically. This is, to me, we need to avoid that this is a political problem. I think we need to start focusing on the good. Is everybody there?
Yeah, we are good.
I lost y'all. I can't see you.
I am
Yeah,
there.
we are very much there.
No, it's me. I can't. My whole screen went blank. Can you
Okay,
still see me?
I can
Yes,
see.
we hear you. We
My
see
whole
you.
screen is blank. So I think we're seeing an overload of many problems here. All right.
Oh,
There's two of me.
So there's some internet starting, I think.
I'm
I think the connection has cut with
You have to
all
unmute
right.
it. Is it better?
And kick me from the studio.
Is it fine? So you have to remove. You are logged in from 2 accounts. I don't know how. Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Are you there?
Yeah, we are good.
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Wow, where is it?
I
And
can.
keep running the show. Y'all keep going and talking about what's going on. I'll get back in.
Yeah. So we have to look for some solutions to fight with COVID. And I think it's not about a week's time or maybe 2 weeks. It will stay, I mean, till the time we don't completely vanish from the world. And to do this, we have to collectively take a lot of strict actions, and we have to change our lifestyle. And we have to follow, I mean, as a protocol that we have to fight with Corona, and it should be a positive fight. We can't stay panic and still say that, okay, this will happen, what will happen, and how we will survive. And we can't run around for stocking all those food, because we have to share the food. That's what we learn. I mean, in the school, in the primary class, I was I was teaching to my daughter that sharing is caring, but we are not we are not following it at this point of time. I mean, we have to share and care, and we have to talk about the extended world. It's not about we, I, me, myself, because politicians, they might be playing their role, but we have to take more actions, which is not going on as of now. And doctors play an important part in this. And I would urge all those doctors who can do something, they should do it. I'll tell you a couple of businesses in India. Business, I mean, the strong, rich people in India, they have contributed in different ways to fight with Corona. So there was a there's a popular businessman, Mr. Anand Mahindra. He's ready to share all these resorts and hotels, because he runs a hotel chain, and he's ready to do it for keeping the quarantine people at the resorts. So they have like more than ten
Yeah,
thousand
he's
rooms.
converted all his resorts to the
Yeah,
hospitals.
and then he also he
Yeah,
also
yeah.
he's also pitching
Good
up a lot of money
move.
for research. So as couple of more companies, so they are ready to do research and they are ready to work on the ventilator. But it's the time we coordinate everyone and we work on a same field. It should not be that you have a different field and I have a different field. If we run on a same field, then only we can do it. Because what China has done is they have created a lot of hospitals in 10 days. If we can do that in not in 10 days but in 14 days, I think we can survive. And there should be a facility available in every state. You can't fly out people from different states to a state and then you see that how we can treat it and all those things. And as far as the vaccines and other things are concerned, so people have a lot of, I mean, they're claiming that the malaria and the HIV vaccines can be a useful tool at this point of time, but we still have to wait for the final report from the medical council, and I mean, accordingly
Yeah.
we'll proceed. Dr. Gulati must be knowing about how the medical council operates and work. So if you can share some limelight about that.
See, as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think everything is on a trial basis right now. The vaccine is not out yet. There is no antidote to it. There is no vaccine towards it, unfortunately. So what we can do is we can just do preventive basis only. There are upcoming medicines which are coming on trial basis, like the HCQ, as I was mentioning earlier, the azithromycin, which people were the doctors were saying, the medicos were saying. So everything is on a trial basis. Everything is on a preventive basis, which should be taken or which should not be taken is a big question right now. And as far as the best thing is the prevention, as far as my wisdom, my knowledge is concerned.
Willie, what do you want to share from Australia?
Hi. Yeah, I'm just looking, and I found a artificial intelligence. The name of the location is Blue Dot. Hello,
Yeah.
Blue Dot. It's a Twitter account, and it
Yeah.
uses artificial intelligence to track infectious disease, and it tracks them. So, just give me a second. Blue Dot sent warning to customers to avoid Wuhan. This was on 31st of December 2019, before the whole World Health Organization got in. Also predicting other Asian city outbreak could be, the data was taken from travelers and flight paths, and it looked at the travel and flight path of all people traveling. And that's when it came up with that.
You know, one of the things they're doing that I don't think they're thinking is like a lot of people who were traveling to do research and have been out of the country, they're making them all fly back home.
Yes.
And the people that are in other countries, they're like, you know what? it's more dangerous for us to get on that long flight for hours and hours. Then, we don't want to stay here. Some of us do want to go home, but they're making people do this. And then there are other people, they're making them stay where they're at, and they have no means or resources to continue staying where they're at. So we're not thinking as a community of people and making this comfortable for everyone. And my word and message to people is go to your embassy. If you're in another country right now and you're confused about what to do, that's what the embassies are there for. Go to your embassy and seek assistance. Call them and ask them what to do. There's no reason to force people on a plane when they're already comfortable where they're at. But if people are not comfortable where they're at, don't have a means to stay, we need to get them help. But we need to stop, take a deep breath, isolate for 4 weeks, and control the situation. Let me tell you something else that's dangerous. This.
Yes.
This is the dirtiest, most transmittable means of transmitting viruses, diseases, contagious stuff. When I use it, before I use it, I get my sandy wipe and I wipe it really good, right? Before I hand it to somebody. And if they're handing me change, I put my sandy wipe out and say, hand me my change. Nick said that he is more than welcome for you to ship all of your money to him and he'll clean it for you.
Money laundering. He's into money laundering, is he?
Out of space, I'll do it. Willie will do it. And Kit will send you an address. Send your money to us. We'll clean it for you. But seriously, people, be careful because, we're at the grocery stores or trying to get our medications. And, credit card, you're handing the credit card to people. It's contaminated as well. So take that extra precaution to have a couple of wipes with you. Most stores have wipes. As you're walking in at the very front door, they have a container with wipes or they have a spray and gel. Our store has paper towels too with extra spray. And you can spray things down. You can wipe your hands as you're going through the store. Wipe your credit card before you use it. I think most places now you can use your own credit card. But if you're handing cash, you're just transmitting the disease. I mean, here's some money I'm paying you to take my disease. We used to have there's an old wise tale. We used to take pennies and rub our warts on them and throw them over our shoulder for the next person to pick them up, right? Why? Because somebody told someone if you spread your viruses on money, right? It was just an old wise tale, but if you think about it, our diseases are definitely transmitted through our money as well. Dirty money.
I'll show you a video how the Chinese people avoid using the lifts and what are they doing and how they are managing.
Let's see how China is doing this because they're definitely ahead of us in this situation. Let's see. That's a good use.
So they have a toothpick placed in the lift, and then that's how they're using it.
Very. There's some very good uses. Here's my Corona doll. We're gonna, get rid of the Corona with my voodoo doll. But it's good uses for other things that you can use the bottom of the stick to instead of, or your elbow, like the doctor shared with us. I do that anyway when I go to a public restroom. I wash my hands and then I open the door like this, right? I don't touch it. Or I use the paper towel that I just dried my hands with. I'll open the door and throw the towel away. I'm not a germ freak, but I asked myself one day, why did I just wash my hands and touch that handle? It makes no sense. And Kit and Sasha, I think, is having problems dialing in. Sasha is from Canada. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Sasha. But some of the things that we learned is that we're also, we're preparing, I think, for the greater challenge. This is just preparing us for something that is coming. We've been slowly warned, with the first two viruses. And I don't think we took the right precautions with them. We did not continue the research that should have been continued. We canceled a lot of our emergency resources. At the beginning of the year, we fired a lot of our emergency resources so that we could build other resources. And now we're paying for that. I think that all of the things that we're talking about are very good, healthy, everyday practices anyway. Am I right? Who would vote on that?
Yes.
Right?
Most importantly, washing hands in the best of the manner is very important. We have to clean the hands with all the fingers placed, and also making sure that we are cleaning our gaps in between, and we are also trying to do some exercise while washing the hands. And we have to give at least 20 seconds to wash our hands, and that should be 5 times a day.
5 times a day, and every time we do that, drink some water.
Yeah.
Because we don't drink enough water. So, 5 times a day of water is good. Ann Kit and I think we take turns showing the world. We're setting the example. Salute.
Water.
Salute. Salute. Willie, more water, Willie.
I got my coffee.
Salute. Salute. I got lemon water. So I drink a glass of lemon water, a big tumbler of lemon water every day.
Yeah, that's a good habit.
White, right? It is healthy, vitamin C. You can get it this way. When I travel, I always order a lemon at the restaurant and I squeeze the lemon in my water. Or you can get it in a bottle. That's another way to do this. Turmeric. I've always heard turmeric is very healthy for you. It turns my hands yellow if I spill it, but it's very healthy. And there's, these are little things we can do. Willie, share with us what you do, the natural remedies that you have.
I've got mint and sage. I've got 2 lemon trees. Hey.
2 lemon trees. Yay!
So I'm gonna be harvesting them and sharing them at the front because they just grow prolifically and they're like it's fruit, have fruits all over. And so I just put them in a carton and just put them by the front, and people can come as they walk past and help themselves because there's just too much for me.
You can transport to us. I mean, we will welcome.
Yeah, ship them.
I'm gonna send it DHL.
I grow a lot of my own foods here that were only seasonal. Come winter, I'm unable to unless I bring the plants inside. I grow a lot of mint.
Yes.
Mint is very, very good. But I buy the oils because mint is very healthy and calming. It helps open your respiratory. Oil of clove. You're in the dental profession.
Clove is nice, and I've got sage also.
Anesthetic. Yeah. This is what they used back in the cowboy days. Yes. My mom used to rub our mouths down with it when we were kids. So a lot of the things that we buy and use today actually are derived from the natural
Natural thing.
plant,
True.
right? And they're anesthetic. Vitamin C, lemon is anesthetic and very cleansing. And Kit, what are some of the oils and natural remedies that you use?
So we have lots and lots of natural remedies, and I mean those remedies come from different parts and villages from around the India, and also India is a historical country, and it's a very old. Uh, we have a very old ancient era, so we follow a lot of remedies. To start with lemon, we do have a dry lemon pickle basically, which is the older the lemon is like a wine, the better is for the health. I mean, Dr. Gulati can also mention some of the remedies. We follow turmeric. We have that tulsi, which we worship, and then we also use it for a lot of flavoring. We also have the clove. We use the garlic for the remedies, and then we have a very immunity booster process, which it's kind of a black paste. It's known as Chyawanprash. So the Chyawanprash is, if you can search on Google, it's one of the more popular, I mean, supplements around the world, and it's a natural way to immunize your body, and it has more than 50 to 100 ingredients, including silver and gold.
Wow.
And they people who are used to having Chyawanprash one spoon a day, they have good amount of immunity, and you can use it with milk and with different ways as well. So Dr.
I
Gulati,
use
maybe
chocolate with mine.
we
Chocolate
can't
makes
hear
anything
you.
taste good.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate's healthy too.
Yeah.
Dr. Gulati, what are some of the natural resources we can use or that you use?
We can't hear you, Dr. Gulati. We can't hear you. Voice.
He's not blocked.
You're not blocked. I mean, you have to check your voice. I think there's some problem with the voice. So, Willie, what about remedies in Australia and in US? I mean, do you follow any kind of remedies there? Because what we are doing right here in India, we have that camphor and that alum and that clove, and then we are trying to make the freshness in the environment in the home
Yep.
basically, and we also use agarbatti, which is which is a dry paste of flour, and then we put some kind of ointment, and then we burn it, and
Okay.
it will also clear the sky or the.
Yep. You were saying a paste earlier on. Can you just send the name on the chat?
I'll just share the clips of the paste.
Yep.
I'll just share the clip of the paste. In the meantime, Kim can share what kind of remedies they follow.
Well, I follow my own. I have a book of herbs. I grow a lot of my own herbs, like Willie's talking about sage. A lot of these herbs have medicinal purposes that are very healthy for the body. Some of them are detox, but also you have to be very careful because some herbs can be very dangerous and hazardous to the body. So a lot of the pharmaceuticals utilize herbs and plants for the pharmaceuticals we purchase, like aspirin. Aspirin comes from a plant. It's just that they learned how to chemicalize it and put it in a little thing. But the native people from where the plant came from, they have been chewing on aspirin for years and feeling great. So a lot of our remedies come from this. And Kit, I'm going to let you control the panel for a second. I'm going to get something I'll share with you guys.
Sure.
Good. How are we going?
So this is the Chyawanprash I was talking about, and
got it.
It has a lot of herbal formula and boost immunity and restore your youthfulness. And they are, more than 50 to 100 ingredients we use it, and it's one of the ancient recipes of India, and it is a part of Ayurveda as well. So people who are following the Chyawanprash lifestyle, they have a good immunity, and you can see the health benefits there. Chyawanprash is supporting overall strength, immunity, and rejuvenation. primary action of Chyawanprash is to bolster immunity, as it is high in vitamin C. It aids the production of hemoglobin and white blood cells. It protects the body from bacterial, viral, and fungal infections, which makes this great medicine to take this time of year before the winter flu kick in. So generally, the lot of people do it at the time of winters.
Okay.
Winters are more chilly, but generally, if you have it on regular basis, that is also good because it's too hot for the body. So if you
Okay.
if you need to digest or if you can manage it out, that's fine. But otherwise, people try it in winters, and it's one of the oldest recipes.
Is it very spicy, like chili hot, or?
It's not that spicy, but it's little chili, not that much, but because it has some black pepper kind of a flavor as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good for strong mind, healthy respiratory, strong digestion, great for heart health, anti-aging, and 1 teaspoon is good enough. You can have teaspoon based on your, how you control your body and how you manage the body. So this is what we can suggest about the Chyawanprash. And I would also like to share one of the trending videos in China, that people are very scared and what kind of things they are using to protect themselves. So they are using a nail inside that lighter and using the nail to press the lift, and then they burn that nail. So that is what people in China following, and that is also the culture in Italy as well. Because if you can burn something, see.
Okay.
So, like, lot of
Hey,
things.
Sasha.
And
Hello, everybody.
Namaste. So I want to share something with everyone. You know, there are all kinds of books out there. This is one of my favorite for garden and herbs. But in here, it tells the story about every plant and how to use it, the healthy benefits. It's a fairly big book. When I first started many years ago, I had a brown thumb. You might as well say a black thumb. I buried all of my plants in the yard dead. But over the years, I've learned to, grow well plants, but also how to use them, right? And so get yourself some good books. Grow. It doesn't hurt to grow these in your house. They develop oxygen, healthy oxygens in your home. I'm actually growing an avocado tree in my house.
Wow.
Well, because it won't grow outside all year, it'll die. So I'm growing this avocado tree. Another thing, one of my favorite exercise books was actually developed for people that are older. He developed this for his dad when his dad became very, very sick. And it's just simple exercises you can do every day that get yourself in shape. And when I do these exercises every day, it's only 8 minutes, but I do about 10 to 20 now. But 8 minutes sounds like nothing. So you guilt yourself. I can do 8 minutes. So it's all about stretching and moving, right? And doing all the stretches and movements and running in place, get your cardio up 1 minute. And these are also things I did in self-defense, a lot of these stretches. And I would take self-defense stretches and incorporate them. But these are little things you can do even 3 times a day. They're guiltless because it doesn't take up a whole day at the gym. But I kid you not, I can drop 1 to 2 sizes in 3 weeks just by doing 8 minutes a day and adding a lot more water. You'd be surprised how much you can lose. Adding these things to your life, and I'm sure that Dr. Gulati would agree that a lot of these things are things that we use in our medicines today. So you must be careful. Don't be adding one of these to your menu if you're taking the medicine as well. So sometimes discuss it with your doctor before you take something from here and add it to your stuff if you're taking the medicines as well, because you don't want to over medicate. But there's ginger, right? And how to propagate it. See, I didn't know how to propagate ginger. My propagation of ginger is at the grocery store, right? And but it teaches you how to do, all of them. So this isn't just the only book out there. Another thing I saw on Facebook was how to grow a garden in a pond, right? And you can have little ponds, like a little house pond. And if you have fish in there, that develops the fertilizer to grow the food you need to grow. But people are actually growing in little ponds, squash, zucchini, no dirt, right? No weeds. So these are different things that we can do that develop our healthiness. Welcome, Sasha. I'm going to turn the mic over to you. How are you doing in Canada?
Doing fine. We got the latest update today. So total number of cases in Canada is 1,430.
Wow.
There are 41 number of probable cases, and there are unfortunately 20 deaths so far. But there's something interesting. I'd like to mention that we've discussed in the last couple of programs to hear from somebody who was in fact infected with this. And I have an amazing story of Irina Krush. She's a 7 times U.S. ladies champion. And here is her story, which was published just 3 days ago. Could I read it?
Yes, please. And Sasha, real quick, I hope that you try to get her on the show with us because I would love to hear from her. But share her story with us. I didn't want to share it. I wanted you to share her story.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Okay, here we go. Last Wednesday night, March 11th, I started to feel a little bit under the weather. On Thursday, I had an unpleasant temperature, 37.6, spent some extra time sleeping, but it got better after that. My temperature never went up again as high. It actually fluctuated between 36.7 and 37. I should also mention by Friday night, but definitely by Saturday, I lost my sense of smell completely. I could not smell the cup of coffee right in front of my nose. I could not waste what I was eating. That was a depressing symptom. Happy to say that my sense of smell taste is coming back to me now. On Sunday, I felt well enough to take an hour walk on the boardwalk. But on Monday evening, I felt a shortness of breath, a symptom I've never experienced before. I just had to take deeper breaths to get the air in. It was definitely worrying, especially given I had absolutely no other symptoms like fever or coughing. On Tuesday morning, I had an internet lesson just like I had on Monday morning. That was when I knew it wasn't anxiety or me dreaming something up. I just couldn't talk without taking extra pauses to breathe. I went to CTMD right after my lesson. When they saw I had no temperature, that my chest x-ray was clear and there was no signs of pneumonia, the doctor visibly relaxed since it didn't look like I had coronavirus. She had no explanation for the shortness of breath, though, and suggested a CT scan at the ER to check for blood clots. So I went to the ER, not the most pleasant experience. There were people around with cough so severe, I was really concerned I could catch the virus there. Anyway, the CT scan showed early coronavirus and pneumonia in both lungs. I was also given the actual test, which only came back today positive. I spent a couple of days in the hospital, I guess mostly under observation, as there wasn't much that needed to be done for me. They did test my blood for oxygenation and found it was fine. So now I'm home taking the hydroxychloroquine tablets. I still have no other symptoms other than the shortness of breath, which I guess I can describe as moderate. Going up the stairs, you do feel totally out of breath, and even sitting in a place, you can feel it. I'm very happy I can breathe on my own. Anyway, I thought I'd share it as this, as I know the trajectory of my illness was not completely typical, and I can help some of you get tested, treated, go into quarantine either. And it absolutely made me see the importance of staying home and doing your part to slow the spread of this. Wish you all stay healthy. Obviously, we all feel for Irina. I know her personally, and I really wish her very best. And hopefully, well, she's 37 years old. I think she's gonna have a full recovery. I really hope so.
I believe so. That's a positive, inspiring story. One of the things she stated about going to the hospital and being scared yourself because so many people there might be contagious. I feel the same way. Our hospitals have now shut down or have done a shutdown where they're only allowing patients who are delivering babies that are existing, patients that are delivering babies or patients that they have had that they know are dying. So they're just, those are the patients that they're accepting now. Anything else, they're asking for a phone consult. So all treatments right now, anything that you're doing, anything you need must be done by phone because so many people did not heed the warning of if you have a fever, don't go. If you have flu symptoms, don't go because you're contaminating everybody else in the room. So, and you're contaminating your healthcare doctor. Come on, people.
Sorry,
Just because they're a doctor doesn't mean that
this
they're
is
immune,
dangerous.
I
right?
spoke to one of the doctor. I spoke to one of the nephrologists today, and he has to go to the hospital because of the situation, even on Sundays as well. And they are doing double kind of a shift basically.
Yeah.
And so the doctor is having small kids at home. So whenever he reaches the home, the kids, I mean, trying to hug the doctor, but I mean, he don't know how to manage those situations because he wants to be isolated, but the kids are too young and the kids don't know how to do what is isolation, what is corona, and all those things. And he was deeply saddened that he's in a profession where I mean he has to take a lot of care, and he's also scared that they are taking a lot of patients. So today they have one of the patients from Italy. He got admitted into emergency, and the emergency ward was all empty just because they think that he's from Italy, and then people are, I mean, going so far. I mean, so that was a chaos situation. But the doctors, they have to treat those patients, and so it's a scary situation. And I think we have to salute all the healthcare professionals around the world, what kind of commendable task they are doing. And as of now, in the current situation, and whatever people say, but the current gods are in the white clothes. That's what they are treating to the humanity right now, because we don't have anything else to save us.
No, I mean, people don't understand that, you're when you go in sick, you're contaminating your doctor too. Doctors don't have that, they have masks and everything, but just because they're a doctor doesn't mean they're immune.
Yeah.
And we're happy to hear about the drug that Sasha shared with us in that story. That is the malaria cocktail
Yeah.
that they're claiming is having great results, quick results and quick recovery. I'm not believing every story I hear out there. If it comes from a reliable resource, I'm okay with it. But if somebody's coming up and they're saying, well, thanks to Trump or thanks to this politician, I got the drug. I'm not running the story right now. I'm not printing that story because to me that's just nothing but propagation that is just there to promote somebody, not to really sell the story on the medication itself. I've been seeing a lot of posts like that. Thanks to Trump, I got the medication I needed. Thanks to Senator, I've also seen people do the opposite. This, our state is so messed up. And they're putting the senator down. I am doing the same thing. I want us to shut down. I think Dr. Galate can agree. We need to shut down, take extreme measures. I think China wishes they had shut down faster.
Yeah.
We look at Singapore. I hope we can get our guests from Singapore back on, because I think sharing those positive results are very healthy mentality for everyone. You know, and sharing the positive things we can be doing. You know, given the fact that the drug that's being used is an older drug, waiting for it to be approved shouldn't be a problem. But then I read somewhere, you know, we're having to wait till it's approved. And I'm like, come on, this is an old drug. This is a drug that we've been using for 100 years for malaria. So why do we have to wait? I mean, somebody's lying out there. They're you know, just not telling the truth, because now it's becoming a political war. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing the political wars start. They're fighting over the stimulus. You know, so let's talk a little bit about the financial impact. We don't have Nick on yet, but you know, the political war now is not so much our health, which it should still be our health, but it's the financial impact that it has had on us. And so our politicians are now fighting over, you know, do we give stimulus? How much do we give? And you got one side saying we're going to sign off, and the other side say we're not. So we're right back to where we were before COVID-19, which is the politicians are now using this as a campaign. But and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to vote for any of them that are using this as a campaign button. You know, we're in an election year, and we don't need to be using this as a campaign box. We you know, soapbox. We need health. We need financial support. We need them to be working. We don't need this as a campaign. But what are they doing in India to help financially with the business? What are they helping?
I mean, it's a very big country with, I mean, a billion population, so it's difficult for a government to help financially. But state governments are trying to do the best, and what they are doing is they are trying to manage the foods and the wheat and rice for the public on a monthly or a weekly basis, and also they are doing some kind of a pension for elderly and poor people, and they expect the people who can work or who have the money, so they can contribute to the uh, president or prime minister or chief minister fund basically. And doctors have a lot of money. So doctors are coming up and trying to help the best they can with money as well as with time. And moreover, apart from that, we also urge everyone. Yeah, Dr. Gulati.
Plus, they've told that, you know, whosoever is having a private firm, running a private firm, they should not, rather, as on a human basis, on a humanity basis, they should not try to, you know, cut the salary of a poor person who's working under them. So this is all maybe a direct and indirect incentive they're trying to give to you know, to the people, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a very good thing basically, because we have to work as a society and we have to look for people across India. We have a new guest, Sonia, online. Hi, Sonia. Do you have any information about the coronavirus in your place and how you were dealing with it?
She's a teacher in a good school, DPS school. So probably she can give us more information.
Yeah. Kuni, can you listen us?
Can we not hear her? What's wrong?
Kuni,
Hello,
can you listen?
Sonia.
You were live on IBM TV and we all are waiting for her input.
Hello, Sonia. Where's Sonia from? Aunt Kit?
I think she is a teacher at one of the top schools in Delhi, and but I think she's not able to hear us. So back to what we were discussing is that I mean, we have to take some steps forward as a society, and we have to look for not about the COVID, but about what can what are the future aspects and lifestyle changes we can do post COVID. As you say that life after COVID and life before COVID is different. So that is what we need to follow. And as far as the compensation by government is concerned, the government will try to do the best what they can do. But as a public, we also have to come forward and do a lot of things what we can, because government and healthcare staff need a lot of hands. And if people can help them in some way or the other, I think that's the best what they can do as of now.
So I think we need to focus on also what are the solutions. We need to listen to the rest of the world and hear what they're doing, because listening to what other people are doing, we're able to get ahead of the game and learn how to treat this and how to do it right. Can we hear Sonia yet?
I think she is having some audio problem. So Sasha, what about Russia? Do you have any news from Russia?
From Russia, yeah, there are a lot of news from Russia. They are using all this story to prop up their political ambitions. They're discussing that this is a collapse of Western capitalist system, and it cannot deal with coronavirus, and societies like China, for example, are much better equipped to deal with that. And when you read what's happening is in the last even 24 hours, when you have bickering between governors and administration, and when Governor Pritzker writes to Trump, "Get off your Twitter and do the job," and you think that you're trying to unite people to help each other and be together or so on. So you're wondering how it all works together with this, what you read about what's happening. The market is trying very, very hard to stay alive, but it's dropping down like a stone. Even today, when it was a discussion of stimulus and maybe it will go, maybe not, maybe it will go in the next hour and a half, but it's still, market is still down almost 1,000 points. The only thing what's happening interesting on the market is that the gold finally decoupled from the other stocks, because before, market makers, they were trying to kill everything, including gold stocks. So there was no place to hide. So finally, today is the first day when all market tanks as usual, and the gold started to go higher, because and gold stocks as well. Now, what else is interesting is that there are some innovations. I'm still thinking, should I talk about it or not? Maybe I'll take another 5 minutes, because it's a very controversial story. And but I think the story has a lot to do with entrepreneurship, innovations, unconventional thinking, and probably should be told. But let me have another 4 minutes thinking. Okay, that's about it from my end.
Aw. Sasha, you hit the nail on the head. We don't need to be using this as a political state. They're doing that now here in the U.S. I'm very frustrated. I've been getting stories, thanks to Trump, I got the malaria cocktail and now I'm alive. And I'm like, no, thanks to your doctors. Thanks to the scientists who discovered the malaria. Trump had nothing to do with nurturing you in the hospital while you were dying. Not one thanks to the doctors. His whole platform, from title, Trump saved my, no, I am sorry. That's not the way it happened. Just because he's in office is not the reason. In fact, we are not using the malaria cocktail in this country right now because it's not proved. He got it. Don't know how, But he signed away his life. He said, "I'm willing to take it because I believe that the benefit outweighs the risk because I'm going to die anyway." So that's how we can take our meds here. But no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to share it with anyone. Thank God you lived. But thank God you lived. Not Trump. I am not giving, you know what? That's just wrong. And you got people putting other politicians down right now because they're not voting for a stimulus. And they're making this a political war. And nobody's winning. Nobody. So we do need a stimulus. Do we need to wait and see the outcome a little bit longer? We're all having to stay home anyway. We don't know what the stimulus says, and I know our politicians well enough to know that they stuffed it full of so much pork fat that it's not going to benefit the people. It's going to benefit them. It's going to benefit the top 1%. And, Nick hates it when I get on my soapbox about this, but the politicians are not there for your benefit. They're not. And we need to be thanking our doctors, and we need to be thanking our nurses, our EMTs, and all the people who are there for us today. I'm sorry, Trump's not doing anything for me right now. Everybody says, give him a chance, give him time, be patient. We don't have time. China's going the hard way.
Yeah.
China, do you think China wishes they would have taken extreme measures in the beginning?
So there are a lot of conspiracy theories from China, and to my surprise, no one knows what's happening in China and how they are managing it, because there are a lot of stories coming from different sources. A lot of doctors in China are saying something else, and the government is saying something else. So we are not sure, but we just know that China controlled the virus for spreading. But whatever treatments they are doing right now, the cases are pretty low as compared to the European and other countries. So I mean, so there are a lot of stories. We are not sure what is the theory behind it, but everyone knows that the ground zero and epicenter is from China, and how and why and what happened, no one has the clarity.
Yeah, no, I think we just need to start trusting ourselves a little bit more based on information.
Yeah.
Right? Education, communication, and transparency. We need to take all of those things. And I kind of messed up my little thing the other day, but in any situation, there are three sides, right? There's your side, my side, and then the truth. You combine all of these resources. There's some truth in street talk. We learn a lot from that because, we're reliable entrepreneurs. We trust each other because we sit on the board of advisors. We're not here for a political campaign. We're non-for-profit. We're not here because we're making money. We're here because we realized we were sharing resources amongst each other around the world. And I was learning something from Willie 2 weeks before it hit me. I was learning something from Ankit before it came here. Yeah. And I think we're doing this not for our benefit, but for the world, and sharing the resources from the doctors who have the time to dial in and share with us. But our real heroes are the doctors right now, the medical profession. Those are our heroes right now, not our right. And we need to think about these things. Is it really beneficial for us to start wearing a mask? Because the mask, again, like we heard from Dr. Galante today, it's not really about protecting me from you.
Yeah.
Right? It's about protecting you from me. It's about protecting my loved ones from if I might have it. And we need to think about being clean and how we maintain and sanitize our area. And these are practices we should be doing every day anyway. And it's not easy. These are not easy practices and disciplines. But these are things we need to consider on a daily basis of, what we each need to do. I'm going to share. I hope this shares. I'm not quite sure how this is going to look, but can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Kit, you shared this with me yesterday.
Yeah.
These are superheroes,
Yes.
right?
True.
There are masked defenders.
And I think we should thank
They're
them because they are the real heroes, and we have to applaud with a lot of claps.
That's right.
That's
There
what.
are masked defenders, and we namaste, many blessings for the future. But they're the ones who are saving us. Those are our heroes. It's not the politicians. To me, they've waited too long. These doctors didn't sit and wait.
Yeah.
These doctors took action, but they weren't getting the support they needed from the politicians to lock down, to quarantine, to isolate, to make the order that we needed from our leaders. And we need it today. We need it today. And you know, I'm very frustrated because the United States is left up to each state. That's not united.
Yeah, that's not united. Yeah, true.
That's not.
People lost coordination. I mean, there is no coordination between the governments
No.
and between the states. I'll give you a small story. There was a flight which had to start from Amsterdam to Delhi on 16th March, and somehow the flight didn't flew on that day. But they had the permission to reach India on 17th March. The flight started on 18th March, and they want the permission to land in Delhi, but our airports are closed. So we say you can't land here in Delhi. So the flight was in the air for around 10-15 hours because Amsterdam people also didn't allow them to land. So finally, because a lot of Indians and a lot of people were tweeting and messaging that please help us landing the flight. So we had a special permission, and then we grant the permission, and we land the flight in our country. But the problem is that there is no coordination because whenever the flight starts from a country or a state or an airport, they inform to the other airport that this is a flight and they will about to land at this point of time. So I think that because of the panic, there is no coordination in between governments, between the airports, between the societies, and between the organizations, and that is what impacting us in a larger way. And same goes with the utilities because I mean there is no plan structure that how if I am locked down, if I'm not going out, how will I get my utilities? Because for to buy the grocery I have to go out, but there is no proper plan or things I can see around the world. I know that in US Costco and a lot of other stores they have a delivery system where they are charging a little more, but they are dropping the groceries outside your door. But not it's not happening around the world. So
No.
I mean, to my surprise, I mean we have to look for a lot of solutions which should change our lifestyle and the way we buy and the way we share our news and values and things.
Well, the thing is we need to become united, right? We need to start thinking beyond just our own selves. I agree with you. The government needs to talk to each other. It's devastating when you see the results keep climbing, that we haven't contained it as fast as we did. I don't think that they've been very transparent about the true damage that this can cause.
Yeah.
But the ridiculous fact is that the results we're getting today are actually 10 days old.
True.
So we're gonna, if they want to look smart, and so they're going, well, 10 more days, we're gonna see. Well, they know this because they already have the test results waiting for 10 more days.
Yeah.
They have the analytics to tell them about at least 20% or 30% are going to test positive. So they are looking smart, but they're not being transparent. And we're ignorant to what's going on because we don't have that transparency.
True. I agree.
I mean, so are you going to share a screen with us?
You want me to share a screen or something?
So there's so many inspirational things. One of the things I want to talk about is some business stuff. What are you going to do, AC, right? You're sitting at home. Sometimes that's when the mind starts getting creative. There's our ambassador. All right. Amishi.
New video.
I know. There's our little ambassador. Do you want to share her message?
Maybe this coronavirus will be gone soon. We will fight this coronavirus. This is a good idea.
How?
How? The doors, we will shut the outdoors, we will shut the room doors, we will shut our night doors and wash our hands regularly. And keep the surroundings clean. And thank you for seeing our video. Bye bye. See you next time.
And there's our little ambassador to share with us the proper social practices we need to be doing today, but also what we need to be doing at home, right? We got a checklist. We need to check our doors, make sure everything's clean. I mean, to learn all of this now at such a young age, these are our future. These children.
You are asking me constantly every day that when we will free from coronavirus, when will it go out, when I can go to school, when I can go outside and play. And I don't have any answers. I mean, because I generally answer all the questions. We make sure that we answer so that she understands. But this time we don't know what to say. And she's in a scare because whenever she sleeps, she's a little scary that, Corona is coming and all those things. So because every time children are listening and they're also scared how to deal with it.
And rightfully so. I mean, and we talked about this the other day, and we're starting to see a little impact. People can't go to work. Our utilities might not stay on, right? Yeah. Because people can't be at work to maintain. People don't understand. Utilities just don't work themselves. It takes thousands of people. Be prepared for the cable to go down. For even this, and let me explain some safety measures for people that they might not know. And maybe we won't get this bad now that we think we have a means to slow it down. But I tried to explain to my son when he went away to college to have a radio. Mom, I don't need a radio. I get everything I need right here. I don't need a radio. Have a battery operated transmitting radio for an emergency, because when an emergency happens, this will go down.
True.
But your radio signal is always going to be around. The government always maintains it for one reason: for emergencies.
Yeah.
Ham radios, people who have that hobby of ham radios. I have a tower in my yard. I don't use it for ham radios. I was using it for Wi-Fi. But ham radios, these are means of still communicating when all of that else goes down, because they never die. The landlines, the copper that we put in the ground over 100 years ago, they don't die. They actually transmit electricity. They have power in them. But they will die if nobody's operating them. But no matter what, the government has an obligation to people, and it's across the radio waves. So keep those radios open. Continue adjusting them, test them, make sure your batteries work, make sure you have flashlights. Prepare yourself as if you would a hurricane, a tsunami, a tornado. Prepare yourself for these things. Have water. Prepare for no electricity. I've been trying to get more solar power onto my house so that when this day came, we would never have to worry. The problem is that the laws don't allow us to install solar unless we pay the power company to do it, and they want hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. I can go buy a solar panel for $10,000 or maybe even less, to install it myself, but that's against the law. They want to own whatever it is that goes on your house. So it's a war going on here. Again, politics, right? So they made it against the law to do that. But emergency situation like a solar power generator, which I have a solar power generator as well as a gas power generator. I'm not afraid, people. I just got all these generators. But these are things that if you live in a dense area and community where you're living in apartments, if your landlord didn't take that precaution, you're going to have problems. So candles, right? Candles don't require batteries. They don't require, keep some bottled water. We always fill the bathtub with water just in case we run out of power, because if we don't have power, we can't pump from the well. We do have well water. But these are things, preparing for the storm, basically. But the radio is a lot more reliable than this. And I know my son says, "Oh, Mom, I don't need a radio." But radios do require some sort of power. They have hand crank radios that you can generate the power through hand cranking. I've got one of those. No matter what, the government will have the means to transmit through radio signal. They will always use that ability. When I worked for the phone companies and when I own my own phone company, we have backup systems to backup systems for communication. So, and a lot of people aren't aware of this. So when the first layer goes down to the public, I'll guarantee you that the government's still talking to each other and the phone company still has a means.
True.
We kept.
So they might be using satellite radios or something.
Excuse me.
They have a satellite phones as well to coordinate between the different countries.
Yep, we have a backup system, so we never throw away our old systems. Our old systems are very, very reliable. So there's the step switch. There's the switchboard, which is a direct line, right? That's why I said we need the CAN and wire. The CAN and wire still works, but it's a direct line. We still have those. We didn't kill them just because we went wireless. So those are used as backup sources for the important people, the emergency people, even the phone companies themselves to still communicate. So when all of this goes down, they still have all of that as a backup system. Power, we don't have a backup power system for on the grid. So publicly, when the power starts going out, we're just going to have to wait. For those of us who have resources that we can build our own, we have gas generators. I have a solar power generator, which is clean. It doesn't make noise like a gas generator. It doesn't burn fumes. You can run it in the house. You can't run the gas generator in the house, but you can run the solar generator in the house. But you need sun, right? And on a day like today, which you can't see, we don't have sun. But these are backup sources that we need to start probably putting in place, because a situation like this can shut a whole country down, and we don't want people to suffer. The other problem we've been having in our country is people who owe bills. And we witnessed this in a meeting that somebody recorded, a mayor meeting.
Yeah.
And the city went and shut down a lot of people's power because they owed a power bill. And the people and advocates were in an uproar with the mayor. They recorded the whole session. And it became a fight. The mayor was pounding the gavel. The people were uproaring. We don't need to be shutting power off on people right now because they might need it. Even if they owe their bill, they might need it. Everybody's going to owe a bill tomorrow. The bills are going to be owed. But we need to refrain from being a Grinch, right? We don't need to be the person out there that's cutting off the power on people because they can't pay their bill today. Scrooge, we don't need to be a Scrooge right now. We need to be the after Christmas Scrooge. We don't need to be killing people because somebody owes us a bill. So this is becoming a huge issue. But what I'm telling people is prepare for a storm. And that's what they've been doing. That's why we had to run on toilet paper. But prepare the other way, right? There you go. At least 23 Italian doctors. Wow. So see, the National Foundation of Infectious Disease director was reading a letter from Italy 2 weeks ago. And he was almost in tears when he was reading it. And he was trying to tell the world we need to take extreme precautions, and we're not, because the doctors are getting infected in other places where this is hit. That's horrific. People need to stop going to the doctors when you're sick. Stay home, call.
Yeah. So
Call.
they are also human. They are part of the society, basically. So there is no point of contacting with the doctor. A lot of doctors in India, they are trying to, like Dr. Sabu, they're trying to operate from phone, because if they can't go to hospital at the point of time. So, and doctors are, apart from working in hospitals, they are doing extra hours at home as well, because they're getting a lot of calls till late night and early morning. And that is the best way to reach out to the doctor. Call them, text them, WhatsApp them, try to connect with them on a video call. you can come on an IBM show and we can connect with you and with
That's
any
right.
of
We'll connect you with a doctor. We've got plenty of
World.
doctors.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of doctors. But yeah, don't be alone out there. Reach out, seek help. If you but stay in if you're sick. Don't spread it. This is what I've been telling people. We don't want to spread it to the doctors.
Yeah.
We heard this message a couple of weeks ago that the doctors were writing, "We're sick. We know we have it. We're going to work until we pass out," and they did. So here's another story. New York has 20,000 positive cases, probably more. These are ones that have been tested. These are not. So people heed the warning that the results we have are from test kits that were done 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And so there's probably more.
There's probably more.
But, and stay home, self-treat, order the stuff you need. Drink lots of water if you can. If you're too sick to, drop the water in your mouth. Contact somebody and let them know you're sick, and maybe they can be your advocate to call for you. But I want to read something about the story under there. They were talking about test kits are going to be coming out at $25 each. People, be careful. Don't buy any test kit. So we have an advisory here. You want to play it?
I'll just put it here. So this is about the test kits.
But as we learned with Willie today and ourselves, people are not taking it serious. They're still going out and
people are not serious.
Right. People are not taking this.
And we are not here to scare anyone. Yeah, and we are not here to scare anyone, but we are just sharing the news because you have to stay at home. Otherwise, the numbers will grow. So if we stay at home, I think we can control these numbers, and this is what we can do at this point of time, and that is the best way to look forward. Because to live a good life, we have to stay at home for at least couple of weeks to make sure that everything is in control, and then only the doctors can work, because we don't have that much amount of resources available right now. So
right, and the doctors, we don't want to make the doctors sick. We understand you're scared. And that's why we're here talking to you. There are things you can do at home. If you do think you have it, stay home, call or help. Reach out to somebody at IBM TV. Go live at ibmtv.com, GOLIV at ibm.tv, not .com, at ibm.tv. Reach out to us on our website. We will try to help you, but you're not alone, people. You're not alone. So can you share the video?
Yeah.
Different symptoms that we're now hearing about from doctors. So you were tweeting out about the loss of appetite, different symptoms that we're now hearing about from doctors. So you were tweeting out about the loss of appetite actually being the most common, but there's also new information out of ENT UK, an organization in the UK, about loss of smell and loss of taste, and that can sometimes be an indicator.
Yeah, and this is fascinating. So they go back and they look at these patients, obviously many of them in China, trying to figure out how their courses progress. Were there other symptoms? You may remember initially there was a thought that there wasn't really much in the way of digestive symptoms, but the study of about 200 patients out of China showed that in fact, not only were there digestive symptoms present in about half the patients, oftentimes it was the first symptom. Loss of appetite, about 84% of the time, diarrhea, abdominal pain, vomiting, those types of symptoms. So it's a little bit of a heads up for people to say, maybe this doesn't always start with a fever or a dry cough or shortness of breath. It can start about half the time with digestive symptoms. Then, as you mentioned, just overnight, Erica, what's called anosmia, which basically means loss of smell, seems to be another symptom that many of these patients often develop. They don't know if it's related to the upper respiratory virus part of this or what, but anosmia, maybe linked to loss of taste, maybe linked to loss.
So that's pretty interesting. We, as Sasha shared with us with the letter, that she lost her sense of smell. She only maybe had a fever for a day. I've been reading different symptoms from people as well. I think the people who get it in the stomach first are people who touch their eyes with the disease, because the eye ducts can lead to your stomach. They are it can take things straight to your stomach. Ankit, thank you for sharing that with us. That's a very impactful story, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not really given a sound symptom list. You know, the ones that they've been sharing with us aren't all the symptoms. They're different for each person. We're going to have a DNA expert come on the show with us this week. He's scheduling to be on the show. And we're going to discuss that, because it could be your DNA, it could be your immune system, it could be how you contracted it, versus this, or this. We are learning it is aerosol. Aerosol means droplets in the air. I have read from John Hopkins that it can be up to 3 hours in the air, maybe longer. So, these are things that they didn't really disclose to us. That John Hopkins article's been out for about 4 weeks, but nobody really reviewed it or shared it. We've been more into politics and finances rather than shutting things down. And I think now's the time. I've had so many text messages from my friends who are saying, I think the government needs to shut us down permanently right now. We just need to do it.
True.
I don't know why they're texting me about it. I have no control in that. But I agree. And maybe we need to get a petition, but I don't think it's going to happen fast enough. I think if China could talk to us, they would tell us, we wish we would have taken the extreme precautions. What was the death toll of China before it capped off? What was the death toll?
So China, I mean, the first case was reported in December. And I mean, there were around a couple of deaths in December. And since December, if you can, I'll just share the screen. So because I'm, to my surprise, I don't know, because a lot of doctors are telling me that they are also not sharing the status about China. So the current status is they have around 30 to 170 deaths so far, with 81,000 cases. But I think the numbers are much more, and they are not sharing the exact number. And if you can see the graph in totality about the cases, so it started from 22nd, because the world have started tracking the numbers from 22nd January, but in China it started in December. That's what they are reported to everyone. But we are not sure whether it's before December as well. They have some cases, because they were very active and rapid in terms of taking all the required actions. And the graph, you can see, I mean, it was growing like this, and then they still manage it at this point of time. So the cases are also reduced to 81,000 as compared to other countries. But I mean, no one knows how and why it happened, and what are the correct consequences it will take, and what kind of precautions we have to take, and why China is not sharing the complete reports about the coronavirus, and everyone is scared about the news from China.
Could it be that they're not sharing just because of the political walls that we have with China?
I think so. I mean, because of something politically, or maybe about a positioning to the world, that might be a case, because there are a lot of if you go to YouTube, you'll find a lot of theories about China and how they are, I mean, managing with the coronavirus, and I mean, the stock market is not as much impacted as to the around the world. And while talking to the board and to sharing the data, I think the numbers are growing. So within an hour, the numbers are growing basically. So, so we have to take some actions, and it's time to lock down because if we don't lock down completely, we will lose our people like this in front of our eyes, and we don't have that much of resources. Italy is one of the second largest, or maybe second country with the best healthcare facility around the world. And if Italy is struggling, then you can see that what happened to countries like other which they don't have so much of facility. So I think it's time to join hands together and pray, and also lock down completely. And I think I don't know, I mean, about the stock market, but to my surprise, we have to close the stock market because people sitting idle, they are doing a lot of, they're playing with the stock market, and someone is losing and someone is gaining. That should not be the scenario right now. What do you think, Sasha?
It's very, very tough question. You see, on one hand, if stock market is open, regardless how horrible the place it is now, people still have
Go ahead.
people
Sorry.
people still have ability at least to have the liquidity of their holdings. They can any day sell or buy, even at loss in many cases, but still they are able. Now, if stock market is closed, okay, how much you want to keep it closed? Say for 2 weeks, for a month, and when it will reopen, it will only reopen 25% or maybe even 50% down. So how much you gained? People lost their liquidity, their ability to get, but regardless, even if you need $500, so you can still sell some stock at loss and at least get this $500. Now, if you're locked and you have investment of thousands of dollars there, and you cannot access that at any cost, at any time, it's very, very difficult issue. There are a lot of considerations to close it because obviously professionals have a huge advantage, but they always have advantage. So okay, so their advantage is increased to so-called normal times, but still it's very, very tough. It's a point of view. I wouldn't disagree 100% with that, but you have to really weigh all considerations to close it or not. Now, speaking about China, a lot of people, it's a human nature when something happened to blame somebody and find responsible and guilty. Yes, I agree with that. However, I don't think that even China understood back in December or even January the impact and really all what's happening. Yes, they registered cases and they see the escalation, but to see that it will go outside of that province, Yuhan, and it will spread worldwide, um, I don't I don't buy that unless somehow it will be proven. They didn't know
No,
themselves really what we are dealing with.
I agree with you, Sasha, and I think I think our senators, they dump their stock. I think they're the cause for the stock market to crash. They did not take responsible measures. They looked out for themselves rather than for the whole public. I keep hearing from experts, which I hope to have on the show this week. Sit still, just ride this wave out like we've ridden every other wave out. But I think this one's different because this isn't caused by a rush on a Amazon.com or an AOL. I think this is a rush on humanity and a crisis. And when you do something like this and cause the stock to crash because of a health crisis, I think it's a lot harder to recover. I want to share some good things, though, something very beautiful. Many years ago, when we were struggling with food crisis in Africa, and we needed to feed the world, but also HIV became a big problem. And we had this song of all of the celebrities got together. I thought it was the most beautiful song that we all shared back then. But these are things maybe we can start doing, is sharing the good things of what's happening, right? But what a message that we gave back then.
We can't see it.
I'm gonna get it up. All right.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
Okay.
There comes a time when we learn cold, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, it's time to lend a hand to the greatest gift of all. We can go on day by day. That's the one. Somewhere must make the change. And we're all a part of God's great big family. And love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day. So let's start here. There's no choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. We make a better day, just you and me. So they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. God, so love.
So this song has been remade many times. Somehow or another, I got a newer version. But the message is there. We are the world. There are people dying, and there are choices we need to be making. And I think this is a song we need to start singing from our homes today. Kind of like what India did the other day, where everybody did the clapping together,
Yeah.
right? I think
That's
we need to resound this worldwide. I get tears every time I think of this, because that's what the message was from the celebrities. They all got together around the world. The first time they ever did this in 1985. 1985, we were suffering from hunger in Africa. The food was being delivered but not being distributed. And then we had HIV. HIV was consuming our world, and nobody was helping. And this message was sent out to say, we're all together. We're all humans. We need to put the politics aside. There are choices we need to be making, but people are dying, and we need to reunite as people, not as a country. Willie keeps saying we need the data. We need to share the data as a world so that we can find out what's really going on. Because when everybody's accessing this data and everyone's researching it, you'll never know who finds the answer to the problem.
true.
But we need to be sharing this, not keeping it to ourselves. Like the government's keeping everything to themselves. And transparency, as I keep saying, education, information, communication, and transparency. Those are the things we need to survive as a world. And namaste, you made
Namaste.
it.
How are
We
you,
have a new
Kimberly?
guest.
Yes.
She's
Good
my
morning.
sister from New Jersey.
You
Her
just
name is
got family everywhere, don't you?
That is what I do. We have India across the globe. That's what I was telling you, that we don't have to talk about our country. It's about the world, and then how we can fight with the current situation and how we can
True.
deal with it and still live a good life and have a good future for all our kids and dear ones. So
Absolutely.
And Kit, you're so right. But you know what? That song's about your family. We are the world. You're everywhere.
Oh yes, our family is huge, and Ankit is doing a great job. Starting all this, the health line, and you guys talking about this every day. I listen for some time. He tells me come join, and I will be like, okay, not. I've been sleeping off very late, waking up late, and I'm like, I will join. I will join.
Well, thank you, because these are the voices we need to hear, not just government voices, but real people voices.
I
You
know
know,
life has changed so much, Kimberly. It's like it's crazy how suddenly within weeks or within a month or so. I mean, basically, it's for me. It's telling me that you know what this we are not the people who control things. No, there is. I'm on a call. There is this entire force up there which controls the entire world. We cannot be thinking that we can do what we want with the nature, with the mother earth, with uh,
no,
whatever we are doing. I mean, it's just
you're right. We need to
well,
get back to this. We
we
need
need
to
to
go
find
back to
it.
what we have been taught our whole lives. You're right. It is a greater force than us. For anyone who believes in a God, I think this is our message of we need to come back to our own communities, our own people, our own practices of
True.
healthiness.
Yes,
I think we became too much about other things. The stress level was too high. I think this is nature.
this
This
is
is nature
nature.
resetting.
We've had so many warnings. Australia was one
Yes.
warning. There have been so many warnings where we needed to take steps back. And, I think even like more so, I would say in USA, we had a lot of opportunities where it came to us that the health system needs more attention than paying attention towards the nuclear wars and the other things. I mean, our health system is going, it's in dire situation. Look at it. I mean, we don't have enough ventilators, not enough beds, not enough this, we're out of that. It's all a eye opener where we all need to press the reset button and start from step A. That's what I feel.
I mean, we keep talking about the different stages of this virus, and I'm so glad you shared that with us because so many people are scared to talk about the inevitableness of the other forces in life that dictate our lives. And those other forces are very real. They're very real in every religious aspect. We might practice different ways,
True.
but I tell people we all have a God. We
Yes,
all
yes.
have a
Everyone
God.
believes in something. I mean, it
That's
could
right.
be a superpower, it could be something, but there is some faith everyone has in them, and it's
Exactly.
all about just reconnecting. I don't know, Ankit, but we all in USA, and Kimberly, I don't know if you guys, but yesterday, everyone, I mean, not everybody, but the Indian community in USA, we all chanted from 6 p.m. to 6:15. We chanted Om, and we even got our kids into it. They didn't know why we were doing it,
Hank
but
did it. Anka did it. I should have joined in. I should have. I I've started a prayer every day.
yeah.
My religion. This is Lent, but I
Okay.
don't practice religion.
Yes.
I don't.
Lent,
I don't.
April 9th, right?
Yeah, but I'm not one to believe in any one religion. I just believe that there's a superior being. And
Right.
my faith has changed over the years, but I kind of reset and went back to my youth foundation. My mom would pray every day. So in memory of her, because she died on Good Friday,
Oh, okay.
I pray during Lent.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
I rooted myself back down to a prayer every morning. I meditate and
Okay.
pray. But I think
Hmm.
we all need to. I think we need to get back to blessings and
Yes, right now we
positive.
need all the blessings right now. I don't know if this was a fake forward or if it was a real forward, but there has been this thing going viral about Italy, that they are saying that uh, the prime minister said, "Oh, we give up because we are done using all our mental resources and our physical resources, and now we are leaving it all up to God." I don't know if it was a fake news or a real news, but I saw that coming up too, and it's so scary that we all are. I mean, some of us are in stage 2, some of us are in stage 3 of the pandemic or the virus spreading, and we all need to just do our shares so that we all can, I mean, somehow some way do what we are supposed to do, and in the bigger picture it might all help, and we might
Well, and
get better.
we need to detoxify our minds as
Mm,
well as our bodies, right? And what you guys did in your faith was beautiful yesterday, because
yes,
you were doing it and Kit was doing it. It felt like you were all joined together for one time at one
yeah,
moment.
yes,
My, my
we try.
my mother taught me something very beautiful. Just before she died, she would she loved the moon, and she said every night, if you miss me, the kisses will be on the moon. She would blow kisses to the moon every day before she died.
Wow. Oh my
And
God.
so every night when I go out to the moon, what do I think? I think
Mom.
mom, because
Mom.
our mental state can be our health. And
Correct.
love is a huge healer. And
True.
so by just sharing that little moment with me before she died, every time I feel like I'm with her, right? So these are things, joining the world. She used to tell
Mm,
us, if you ever get lonely, look at the moon, I'll be there, when
correct.
she was somewhere else.
True.
And so what you guys did was joined your world together,
Yes, we
your
did. We did.
faith, your families, in one action.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And
That was the message to God and to the real God with the white clothes, that we are there for them and we all are united and we all want to fight with the virus and we want to stay alive in the beautiful world.
That's right. We
So
love
that's
each other.
it.
We
yes,
love
Exactly.
we
each other.
do. One
That's right.
word.
We love each other. Um,
United.
so the thing is we need to start learning sign languages
Okay.
and no contact, right? I think you're right, that we are preparing for something bigger. We've had our warnings. I think people need to get back down to their faith, whatever it is. I tell everybody, we all have, like you said, we all have somebody we report to. Our
True.
stories
Yeah.
are almost very similar, right?
Mm,
Our
yeah.
rules are very similar. All of our rules say respect each other, respect our faith, respect our God, respect each other is the big one,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, see, that's one thing. I don't know what I've noticed over here in New Jersey or New York or in the entire USA. And I was just comparing this uh, with India, that uh, uh, over here, when we are when we are told that you guys are supposed to stay home and you're allowed to go get groceries or meet your parents or go to the doctors, we don't need the cops or anyone to come and stop us from going out. We follow those rules because now we feel we all are playing a role in this and we are responsible to I mean, work towards this, right?
No, Enrica, I agree with you. For the most part, I think a lot of us are responsible. And then you have those people who are not, and the people who are
That's where what
self-righteous.
I was trying to say was, now
Right.
in India they did such a great thing by doing the curfew yesterday, and everything was going well, but still there are groups of
People
people
on
who
the road.
started walking out on the streets and started doing rallies, and that's where I'm afraid that people who are educated but still are not ready to understand, and they are going to cause this pandemic to go crazy in India. And I'm very afraid for my family because Ankit must have told you we have a large family and we have people with underlying conditions or elderlies in the family. And I'm afraid for them because they have to go to the hospitals for their medical needs and stuff, and the other people are not taking care of themselves, and scares us for our people.
So,
They don't listen.
one of the things I liked about Willie when he comes on, he kind of gives us a heads up because their country kind of is already a little bit ahead of us in Australia. And so when they were running out of toilet paper, we hadn't had that news yet here. We were laughing. And then all of
Yes.
a sudden it happened to us. And then it
Yeah.
happened to India and Canada. So Willie and them, they've learned people just are not, enough people are not responsible. So they're rationing foods, right? And
Yes.
they're rationing
Yeah.
foods with the police officers. The police officers are there rationing the foods. So Willie is kind of like us, and you're like us. Thank you, Rika, for sharing this.
Mhm.
And this is a concern because we don't have to be behaving this way. One of the things they've been asking is people stay home if you're sick. Don't go to the doctors because you'll make the doctors sick, the people sick in the room. Even if it's the flu, they can't. They have no cure for the flu. They never have.
Correct.
And again, they've never had a cure for a lot of the viruses. So they've always had this rule, but this one was bigger because they knew this one would kill people in 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. So 3 weeks ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, I'm going to try to find the video. The National Foundation of Infection Disease director was reading a letter from Italy. And he was almost crying because we were talking about the things we needed to be doing. And I think he was trying to get the message out, but nobody was listening to him. And
Yes, I saw that letter. I think it was on Facebook.
No,
And
this was, yeah, it went on Facebook on some. I put it on Facebook. The other thing is people don't know what this disease does to you.
Yes.
And can you put the picture up?
Which one?
Well, I'll see if I can. The one where it shows the spikes going to people's throat. I have been posting that picture. They made me take it down.
Yes.
But
It
it's
has
not a
been
fake.
going
It's not
on
fake.
WhatsApp, Kimberly. This picture has been going on WhatsApp. People are forwarding it to each other, and I have seen it in almost like 5 groups. This picture, and
But
it's very
they
important
made
for
me take
people
it
to see it.
down.
Oh,
And they
they
made
did.
me. They
Oh,
made me.
wow.
Yeah, they said they don't want people to know this. But if you go to the National Geographic, I'll see if I can pull it up and send it to you. It
Okay.
tells you exactly what it does to the body. Because the name Corona. You know why they call it Corona?
Sorry, but I don't.
Okay, so they call it Corona because it has spikes, okay. So if you look at it, it has spikes, and each spike they look at it underneath the microscope, and it looks like a crown, but it's like a ball with spikes, and that's how the name Corona came.
Oh.
Okay, so you know what these are, right? Those nasty gumballs that you can't step on. So anyway, I actually got rid of them out of my yard. It took me 2 hours to find them in somebody else's world. But so imagine having a bunch of these go down your throat.
Oh my God.
So they then get in there and they attach themselves and they tear the lining because that's your insides are soft. So then this goes into your lungs. And they will tell you, it will tear at your lungs and turn it into a honeycomb.
Okay.
Now, this is a real article from National Geographic. They keep trying to push it aside. It's very hard to find. So then once it gets into the lungs, it's going to do all the damage it can. It's going to look for a gateway to the rest of the body. If it gets into the bloodstream, they call it a blood storm. Okay. So then it goes in, and if it gets into the other organs, it's going to do the same thing to the other organs. The organ that is the worst damaging is the liver.
Oh, I thought it was the lungs because of the virus.
Well, because it goes into the lungs first, that's your ground zero.
Okay.
But your body flushes things out from the liver.
From the liver. Okay.
That's your immunity. So if your immunity and your liver is not in shape, it's not going to sort the bad from the good. Because right now, the liver generally is supposed to take the bad and flush it out, and the good keep it in your body.
Right.
But if the liver is confused and it isn't immunity up, it's going to take those corona cells and push it back through to the body.
Oh, okay.
That's where people die. And most people's immunity today is not up. Even the doctors, they work too many hours. They don't eat like they should. They don't sleep like they should. They're probably the worst immune people in the world.
Correct.
They
And
are
right
our mass
now,
defenders.
and I think right now that's what I mean. We all talk about that. What can we take to improve our immunities, and that's where the main focus is. Taking your vitamin C's every day, and then you must be aware of this. There is this holy basil, which we Indians
I
keep
told
in
her.
our house. Which
Yeah.
we so it is a kind of basil, but it is a different kind of basil, and we call it holy basil, tulsi, and that is a very good immune booster. So what we do is
Basil.
like we use that holy basil and then cloves, and we put it in our tea every day, and that's what we consume with ginger, clove, and holy basil, and we try to drink it 2 to 3 times a day to you know have
To clear
some
that throat and
heat inside. The
clean.
respiratory tract is open, it stays clean and nice. So people over here, when I talk to my friends, everyone talks about what can we take to improve to keep our immune good. And God bless, we are lucky we're allowed to go out of the house, so we can still go for walks or jogs. So we do that regularly to keep in, the health, to keep our health better, so that even if you are get the virus, you will at least be able to survive with lesser symptoms, and not need to go to the hospital, or go through what you just said. It's so scary what you just explained. I mean,
Well, and people don't know this because they won't share this with people. But I'm going to share. I just sent you the link through
yes,
private
I will
chat.
forward it to my I'll put it
I,
on my Facebook, and
I
I'll
just
forward it.
forwarded it to you. I've been trying to share it to people. Every once in a while, they make me take it down. But I'm going to share the screen with you so you can see just what the story's telling.
Yes,
Because
sure.
the end of the day, this is the first question I asked.
Hmm.
The very first question and nobody wanted to answer, but I live with a disease that I was diagnosed with in 98 and told I only had 10 years to live.
Oh, wow.
So the first thing I wanted to do was learn, what is the impact to my body? What does it do? Well, back then it was so rare, they had no answers for me. So I had to find my own. But the way I fight things is I learn.
Hmm.
What does it do to my body?
Hmm.
So really the true way that we've learned, even through Sasha's letter that he shared with us today, the real way to understand whether you have it or not is a CAT scan, not even an x-ray, but a CAT scan. So here's what the coronavirus does to the body. And this was done by the National Geographic. But do you ever hear anybody telling you this?
No, I think last time I saw this on your show, I was watching the show, and I think you were talking about this, and that's the day when I really saw this. And I
Right.
haven't seen it anywhere else.
So they don't want people to know this. But this is National Geographic. This is a very reliable resource.
Correct.
And they have yet to make them delete it, right?
Yes.
So they talk about the others, but here you go, ground zero, right?
Wow.
So then they talk about, if you read through this, they talked about how SARS was, but Corona, they know about Corona because SARS and MARS, but the stomach is a gateway,
I
right?
lost the voice. I can't hear anyone.
We can hear you.
I'm sorry. All right, so I'll slow down. They're probably trying to make me stop this, but you need to become educated before you know how to deal with this. This wasn't meant to panic people, but I would have loved to have seen this in December, right? If I'd seen this in December, I could have made better choices.
True.
People are not making better choices because they don't know what's happening. They have no idea the bloodstorm that happens in the body. So read this, share this with people. Maybe, there you go. This is what happens in the liver. It becomes your collateral damage if you don't have your immunity system up. So unfortunately, I read too much. It's probably I'm not paranoid, about what I'm going to do. I'm paranoid about what other people are going to do.
Yeah, true.
And Italy has suffered this. Are they really throwing their hands in the air? Rika has shared something with us that's just breaking my heart. Ankit, can we find a story on that?
I can find out, but I don't think so. This might be a story which might cause a dilemma or something, but I don't think so. This could be. Let me find it out.
Because that's not a good thing if you got a country that's giving up. One of the things I did hear this morning is that they are bringing in military support like naval ships
Yeah.
to help treat the sick. So they're bringing the ships to the ports. They've got naval doctors. You can contain the virus a whole lot better on the ship. I'm glad Rika's coming back. Rika, hi.
I just completely lost you guys. I couldn't hear anyone.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
My son's up in that area. Can you share with me a little bit about what's happening in your area?
Can you go again? I just missed you.
My son is up in New York.
Oh, he is. Okay. All right. Okay.
What is
Yeah.
your life up there right now in the New Jersey, New York area?
So basically, New York, the cases are jumping like crazy. I mean, but there are a lot of positive cases, and they have asked all the hospitals. Today, I was listening to Governor Cuomo, and he was saying that they are asking all the hospitals to increase their capacity by 50%. Now, I don't know, yes, but I do not know how they plan to do that because the existing hospitals are already, they say, are over. Getting overloaded, and I don't know how they are supposed to do this because I missed the beginning part of his speech, or I mean the what he was saying. And another thing is they have opened new centers, testing centers, where they showed on news that there were long lines of people who are standing in the rain with the umbrellas to get tested because they're not well or something. So there are huge lines. And in New Jersey, we have over 2,000 cases as of today when I last saw it. But the what makes me feel still at ease is that total number of deaths are still 20. In New York, it was 411 today.
Wow.
So with all that, I feel as long see as a layman, as a person sitting at home, I feel if we have more positive cases, it is still okay because as long as we don't have a lot of people in the hospitals and a lot of people uh, dying because of this. If they are able to, if people are able to uh, be at home, self quarantine themselves and get fine, I feel that would be a better picture. But the issue over New York and New Jersey, what I feel is they talk about how many people are infected. They talk about how many died. They don't
Yeah.
tell us that okay, these many people were tested and these many people were quarantined and now they have recovered. That is the number I want them to add in the news. The reporters should be adding that number so that people feel a little more comfortable and they know the real picture.
So we have the numbers of the recovered people from US, where in New York there is no recovery. Same goes with New Jersey, and in Washington they have 124 people have recovered so far, out of 1996 total cases. And the
So
number is growing in US right now. I mean, initially when we started the show, the number were pretty less, and now it's growing like anything.
15,000. Yeah, yeah.
So 20,000 have been infected in New York, where 157 already died, 43 died today, and there is no recovery. Active cases at 20,718, and the number
I
is
hope
growing. This picture.
yes. So tell me one thing, Kimberly, and I mean anyone who can shed some light on this.
Which one?
Rika, every once in a while she drops out. She'll get back on. She knows the game. She'll get back on.
Yeah.
No,
So
she's bringing in some good light about some things that we do need to be talking about, right? Because the spiritual part of our life is very, very important. in surviving anything. These numbers kind of worry me, and I gotta wonder if some of the recovery numbers are faked. I mean, I would hope that they would not fake it, but
I too think the same thing basically, because but we are sharing the numbers just not to create panic, but to let people know that we have to we have to take them seriously, and we have to stay at home. I mean, and we have to enjoy whatever we have at this point of time, and I mean, create a situation where government don't have to urge us to go on to go lockdown, and we have to carry that forward for at least couple of weeks so that we can contain those numbers. Otherwise, if we go out, the numbers will increase.
and in San Francisco they had this shelter isolation, right, where everybody stayed in their one shelter, which I thought was really well. They were, according to the resource yesterday who spoke with us, who actually has been busy this morning. He shared with us that they were easily able to contain it quickly by saying, stay in your shelters, because they have a lot of homeless. And when you have a lot of homeless, you have a lot of wandering people, like New York, right? A lot of wandering people on the streets. So they took this very serious in the very beginning, and they took extreme measures. I was reading up on some of the things that we didn't talk to this with Justin. I wish we would have, but they from what I was reading, they have drive-through testing where you can get tested in a drive-through scenario. They've set up a lot of tents so that they can treat people in the parks, which I think is very beautiful that they do this. We have Rika. Is she on again? Can you get her on? And Dr. Gulati again.
So I think.
Good morning, good evening. Namaskar.
Namaskar. So I think Rekha Didi will mention about because she used to go to New York every day, and she stopped going it from past 2 weeks because of the situation, and it's impacting the. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Didi. You have to log in again. So, Dr. Gulati, how was your dinner, and did you have any more information about the situation?
Sorry, I'm not. I'm unable to get you again. I'm unable to hear you.
We can hear
Hello.
you.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Ankit. Yeah, please.
So, do you have any more information, because the numbers are growing, and we are still
Yeah,
in
it's really a
conversation,
bad, unfortunate situation for all of
because
us, and
while
we are
starting
just.
the week, we were at 15,000 something, and the numbers are growing pretty fast. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's how we are at this point of time.
Yeah, even a little point I missed out was, we should try doing the holistic thing, which is try at coming as near as to the holistic approach, trying yoga at your places like Surya Namaskar and all, which, try to boost the immunity.
Yeah,
So these are little things which I want to make a short note of.
I
So
agree.
I think you're right. I think we need to stay.
Probably,
I wish we could give some
probably other.
resources to help Italy.
Yeah, we could.
You have
Hello?
yeah, we can hear you. You have some questions.
Okay. No, I was just, I don't know, earlier I was asking about the hydrochloroquine, which has been a thing in the news, and I really wanted to know if Dr. Gulati could know, he must be knowing a lot more on it as to how it would really help the people, because they're going to start the trials on the people who are really sick in New York today, as what the governor had mentioned. So, how do you think it would help the people? Do you really think it is something we all should feel positive about using it?
Yeah, definitely. Because as we had a discussion about it, a wide discussion about it before, that these all things can be done on a preventive basis. I don't know what is really working on, but the thing is, this HCQ and azithromycin, which are to be taken in morning evening doses, are all preventive measures. So once a person goes to the hospital, that is all the thumb rule, the thing which takes him out of the hospital really is the immunity levels a person has. Because once the virus gets into your body, it takes the whole of your, occupies whole of your lung capacity.
Hmm.
So and then it drastically affects your lungs, your breathing capacity. So some people are even surpassing the stage silently because they have a real strong immune system. And some people are onto the beds and suffering because of their low immunity. So it really depends upon how your immune system is actually.
Okay. Hmm. And
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
one more question in
So
regards
these
to the
are
same.
these are sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
I'm just interrupting.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, this HCQ and these medicines they've been tried since past few days, and which is all done on a preventive basis. So nothing can be said and really done about it. Uh, the thing is, this is all a symptomatic treatment. Once a viral infection comes into your body, it is just a symptomatic treatment a person needs, basically.
Okay, okay. So just
Yeah,
one more
yeah.
question. So when they started talking about the hydrochloroquine and the other antibiotic, the combination, a lot of people, and I think especially in India, I have heard, I could be wrong, Ankit, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
People started buying these off the pharmacies, and they started thinking that keeping it at home and using it every day might help them not get infected. Is that in any way true? Is that the right thing to do at all?
So I'll tell you, it's not
I
about
don't think
to
so.
get the season. Because of the change in season, people were buying paracetamol, and because of the scenario, the situation here is like that. Paracetamol will be 5 to 10 times costlier than it is what it is now. And if you have any basic flu, you can take paracetamol and you can avoid those situations to reach out to the COVID. But we were not sure that. I mean, after taking the paracetamol, after taking all the medication, still you can get affected and get the viruses in your body, because you are going out, meeting a lot of people, shaking hands, and doing all those things which is strictly no at this point of time. So that's why there was a panic of buying all those medicine, and that's why the people were, I mean, eager to buy those things.
So I
Hmm.
will go ahead. Go ahead and answer. Go ahead. Did we lose connection?
No, I
Right.
can hear you. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Okay, no, no.
Yeah.
My question more was, Ankit, to Dr. Gulari about people thinking that they could buy the hydrochloroquine and the other antibiotic and take the combination and sit at home, take them and go out thinking that, oh, I've taken these two medications. Now I'm going to be okay.
No.
That was my question.
See, I must tell you that on a very prompt basis that none of the medications which you try at your home is a good thing. It is a good idea. Rather, which is the basic medicine, which is ibuprofen, and paracetamol, which people started taking when they got the fever and all, which is also harmful to the body up to an extent. So this hydrochloroquine is another level. So none of the medications should be tried at home without the proper prescriptions and under the proper guidelines of a doctor, of your physician. Yeah.
Hmm. And can I put one more question, guys, if that's okay?
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
so WHO released this. I mean, they've been saying that there is this letter floating that they said that it's airborne for 8 hours. But as per what I read, I feel that those 8 hours was for the medical people in the hospitals where they the kind of environment they are into, the ultraviolet rays and the humidity or the heat or whatever. And for normal people like us, it is still, they are still thinking it is 3 hours. So what is the, anyone can shed some light, what is the right, I mean, is it 8 hours, is it 3 hours? Because people are just sending these WhatsApps and they are getting viral that now it's airborne, it's 8 hours, we cannot go out, we have to put masks. So,
Read that John Hopkins. John Hopkins has a paper on this. John
mhm,
John Hopkins Hospital has they're the first who uncovered that research, unless it was done in China as well. But John Hopkins, there's an article. I'll see if I can pull it up for you.
mhm,
They're the first to discuss several weeks ago that it's aerosol, and 3 hours is what they were sharing. But that was several weeks ago. They said we think it's only 3 hours. They're being very careful because the research isn't finished.
okay.
So let me see if I can find that article while you guys keep talking. I'll see if I can find that. John Hopkins.
So,
But
Dr.
I trust John Hopkins.
Yes, John Hopkins.
According to one of the doctors on the show, they told us that in different temperatures, the virus can sustain at different hours. So, because there's also a theory that after 35 degrees Celsius, the virus will automatically kill. But the doctor told us that if it stays for 4 hours, the virus will stay for 2 hours. So there is no theory as such that it's airborne for 8 hours or 3 hours based on the weather, temperature, and how you manage those things. Because if you have a windy weather, how will you manage it for 8 hours? I mean, it will flow for more hours. So based on the weather,
Right,
temperature, all those things. So no one has a theory about it.
right answer.
I think that's some kind of a story which Kim will be sharing soon. So, but there's a lot of missed fake news going around, and that is also creating a lot of panic and situation. People have stopped wearing all those metal things in their hands because you don't clean all those watches and the jewelry which we wear. And
Mhm.
one of the doctors, in fact, on the show, told us that you have to clean your glasses, you have to clean your beard if you have a beard, you have to wash your beard and your hairs if you have long hair for at least 2 to 3 times a day. And whenever you are wearing a mask, make sure that you are not putting any hands in the mask and then put it on the eyes, because eyes, nose, and mouth can be a dangerous situation when you are not using any kind of precautions. So the
Right.
lot of do's we have to follow, and we have to change the lifestyle after COVID. That's what Kim always say, that there's the life before COVID and there's life after COVID. So we have to take a lot of precautions. Today's COVID, tomorrow it could be something else. So we have to be ready with all those situations, and we have to fight it like the way we can unite and fight it and share our case studies and best practices around the world. Then only we can survive.
Hmm. True, true. Yes, yes.
Did you got those? Did you got those things?
I'm still
Uh,
looking. They keep moving these things. My computer rebooted this morning. It
Okay.
didn't save, so let me keep looking. But there are John Hopkins had shared this article. You know what? I just shared it to someone. Hold on just a second.
Sasha, you have some news?
Do I have some news? I always
We were looking for that bottle today. We didn't saw that bottle.
have. Yes, I have some news. The question is, should I share it with all of you or not? That's a point. The one news I'm fighting very, very hard whether to share it with you or not, and I just can't bring myself to share it with you.
Okay.
It's kind of very unusual. Very unusual. I have to really work myself up to do it.
Okay.
Otherwise, well, I think we covered a lot about the medical aspects of this. unique situation. It is, as I said before, it's a huge health and medical problem. And although we know more and more about it, uh, there are still, as a pure medical solution, I really don't know how far we advanced in the last few days. Now, as a method to contain it, it seems to me that Chinese method is working the best, and Italian is the worst. Whatever
Yeah.
they're doing, and I don't know whether they're not doing enough or it's a peculiarity of their mm, national kind of immune system, if there is if there is such thing. I hate to think that different nationalities have different immune systems. Um, I don't know. What do you think? Is it possible question to ask?
So you're talking about the immune system and how you will build the immune system.
I'm talking about immune system in different nationalities. Is it possible to say that
Yeah.
certain nationalities have stronger immune system and certain nationalities have weaker immune system? And if it
Yeah.
fit into that, then we understand why it's happening in Italy, that really hardship, and why China is so successful fighting it.
No, I think though immunity will definitely play a bigger role in this, but immunity and precautions both can team up, and then only we can survive with COVID. Because people who have immunity and if they can survive, but they need a lot of medical help and a lot of medications on time, then only they can fight it out. Because it's not that if you have immunity and you can go out and do whatever you can at this point of time. So immunity can give you more time than the other people because you have those more time to fight it out. And if you have medications and everything on time, I think you can survive. And as far as the immunity in nationality is concerned, I think we got some kind of case studies soon from John Hopkins or any other medical council, because people might be talking about that which country has good immune system and how we can change our lifestyle, because we have to share the best practices around the world. If we are not sharing our best practices, then there is no way to move forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally
Yeah.
agree with you.
And I think you have more experience than us, basically, because you have seen the world in a much more appropriate way in different eras. So you know that how the people have. Because you have seen the older people, they have more immunities than what we have right now. So I don't know. What kind of lifestyle they were doing, but I know about the Indian lifestyle. But I don't know how they were surviving or doing the proper precautions at that point of time.
Now there are a lot of talk about in US particularly to involve the military in a big way. Actually, to get military involved 100% of their efforts, and they have a very well trained medical personnel from doctors to just name it, and why they can save so many people around the world but are not doing much about saving American people. Why is that? Is it because of the poor administration's efforts? Because it's only them who can really enact it. Only them. Nobody else can do that. No governor, no mayor of any city, but the administration can do it. Why it hasn't been done so far?
I think so. Yeah. I was trying to look for some kind of an article or some kind of a stat that how much each country is spending maybe in last 6 months on medical as compared to defense, because all the countries are ready to buy the aircraft and the missiles and whatever they don't have, they're ready to buy those things, but no one is focusing on the ventilators and the medical equipment across the globe. I'm not talking about a particular country, but across the globe. And I don't know, why people are not concerned about the medical things rather than buying those defense things to make sure that they are superior and they are superpower and then all those things. Because none of the missiles are giving you anything at this point of time. But if we could have built a lot of hospitals with a lot of doctors and a lot of medical facilities, I think we could have a better case in the current scenario.
But the military is there. You don't need to buy anything to enable military to help in this situation. They have everything, and they have very good trained professionals, medical professionals. And I don't understand why the administration is not really moving forward with this plan. It's very disappointing.
I agree with you guys. I'm still looking for the article. Some of my articles are getting misplaced, and I need to get better organized. But they did say that they're dispatching one of the Navy ships to the port in New York. So they have medical doctors on the ships. They can contain very well. I've been on old Navy ships because we have them in different places. But if you understand them, it's I don't know how they're going to contain it because people sleep in bunks on top of each other. But they feel like by bringing in this extra resource to help give more doctors and more controlled situation. I don't know if bringing people on a ship is a good idea, but I think we need to do something like House says. We need to bring in the other resources we have. Not every military person is trained for emergency situations. They're trained to fight and defend. So we need to be very careful. As we spoke with Justin yesterday, who's in the EMT world and in the fire department, they're used to putting out fires. They're used to dealing with emergencies. And he told us that, and he wasn't on our show. We were trying to get him on our show, but that they have already been trained. The 911 centers are trained to take the calls. They are not going into what could be considered a COVID environment. If a person is sick, they are suited up properly with the right goggles, the right masks, the right suits. So they go in and help the people. They don't go into the environment if they need to save the person. And they have the tools to save people. They have the ventilators. They have the heart starters. But again, people, if you are at the stage of having, some of the symptoms, of course, now we're learning the symptoms are so different everywhere. But stay home, call the doctor, see if they can send you stuff. A lot of, this is why I told someone the other day, stop driving around looking for it. They're like, we can't find this. Amazon, hello, I think they're still delivering. But the warehouses have this stuff, whether the stores and the pharmaceutical places, and don't take the medications that are being sold online. Just because they say that malaria drug is saving people, the I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to pretend to. It sounds like hydrochlorine. But, and again, Ian is giving us the message, right? Drink lots of water every 30 minutes. Be drinking something. But I just got word while we were talking because somebody had sent me a message that they have been saving people with this drug. They just text me, please be careful. Don't be taking this because it can cause deaths. If the drug is taken wrong, it's a malaria drug, and odds are it came from antibodies of malaria, just like chickenpox, right? When they give us the vaccine for chickenpox, I still wear it on my or measles, right? A lot of these vaccines are the disease itself. The strange thing is that they've learned years ago, three years ago, they were celebrating malaria can actually cause cancers to stop growing. It actually eats cancers up, but you have to be very careful because you don't want it to get into the healthy part of the human body. So you have to control whatever it is you're taking. So I just received a message from someone that said, please be careful just because we hear that this drug is helping people. Don't be self-treating with it. It can kill you. So I'm thankful that people are watching our show, not just watching to share these are the solutions, but watching to share these are also the problems, because this is how we're going to save people, right? I'm going to repeat it: education, information, communication, right? Transparency. Once we are all of those things, we will survive this. The other thing is to start preparing for after this. Get your financial situation in place. And if you don't have a means to, don't be panicking and taking a loan that you can't pay back tomorrow. Of course, it's money in your pocket today, but it's going to cause another big problem tomorrow. I don't like to tell people financial advice. I like to leave that for the people like Nick, and people who are financial advisors. What's happened to the stock market is devastating. I was always taught from my financial advisor, when things like that happen, don't panic, write it out. All too often in history has taught us that the panickers are the ones who survived. But I'm going to try to be calm and hope that the rest of the world is. Our senators weren't, and they were dumping. Our leaders weren't. They were dumping, and they're the ones who caused the crash, not us. We didn't cause it. They did. And this is a time for change. This is what we have to look at and think about. We need to say, what really caused that stock market to crash? And were these leaders really thinking about us, or were they thinking about themselves? And they realized it was more than one senator. So we're not going to blame just Senator Burr, who was the first on the news. But, we talk about this, that our leaders need for us. But all of this has become, like Sasha said, has become nothing but a political war rather than we are the world. And we need to set aside our differences and join together. There are people that are going hungry right now that shouldn't be. And let's reach out to them and make sure they get food. There's a huge concern about children because we closed the schools, and the only way these children have received food is through school. So we heard where one place is actually sending out buses to drop locations, drop off food for children who relied on the schools for food. So these are things we can learn from other people, how they're doing it, what works, what doesn't. I thought that was beautiful. It's keeping bus drivers out there. They can also have their ears and eyes open for any problems, right? That they can bring back home and say, we have an issue here. But it doesn't hurt to reach out to our friends to find out if somebody's hurt. As Ed Kit said, don't be alone out there. If you need something, email us. That particular email is kind of dead right now. But we're here. If you need help, if you need a doctor, Ed Kit knows a lot of them. And Kit, kind of share with us some of the things you think in India that they're doing to help the people that might not be getting food. Do they have a resource?
So we at the government level, at a state level, and a public level, and at a community level, helping people to whatever they require. We are ready to support them. Everyone is in constant touch with each other to keep everyone aware about the situation and keep also tracking that if someone, we don't want anyone to go out right now. So we try to control. And if suppose someone from the neighborhood wants to go to buy groceries, so we are not a family, but as a neighborhood, one person is going out and buy the grocery for everyone else. So that one person will go out and we keep everyone safe. So we are taking turns and we are trying to do the best. I'm at home from past around more than 60 hours. I haven't put my feet outside, and same goes with a lot of people. And we are trying to protect the world by staying at home. And as far as the doctors and medication is concerned, we at IBM TV would like to help you and support you at any point of time. Whatever we can do best with the online consultancy. If you want any kind of mask sanitizer, we can contact us and we'll try to give you the results and the food at your doorstep around the world, because we have board of advisors from around the world, and I think we are here to protect everyone. So that's the message, and stay calm and be happy and try to do a lot of activities at home, because otherwise people have a tendency to get lazy and do the binging, because Dr. Sabgu mentioned that you can't You can't play with your health at this point of time. To have more immunity, we have to drink a lot of vitamins and lot of healthy and hygienic food to keep yourself sane and healthy and try to fight the COVID situation right now.
But you said something that's very, very impactful, is that it's not just about protecting ourselves from this virus, but making ourselves healthy to protect us from any of the flus and any of the viruses. It's not just about this.
Yeah.
If we're doing these things and we start relearning these things, we're going to protect ourselves from many other things. I
And
mean,
I think I think we teach lot of good habits to our children and to our kids, but we are not following those habits.
Yeah.
So it's time to do a lot of things or redo a lot of things which we don't do since we grown up basically, and these are small basic things.
No, I agree. These are things that
And
we need to.
it's time to wash hands, and I respect all my viewers to go and wash hands because it's been a while, and have some water and I mean Asha can share some colored water as well if he has available right now.
So it's time to take time to wash our hands, to do what's right, drink lots of water, drink lots of fluid, learn about the BHI, Body Hydration Index. I learned about this about 3 years ago reading National Geographic, which happens to be my favorite go-to resource for anything because they're worldwide. Their people are everywhere. If you want to know how something happens in another world, National Geographic is one of those places. I wish I were National Geographic. Um, but start reading more about how to make yourself healthier because that's just how you're going to do it. And the exercising. Again, we talk about all the foods we can eat, but even Dr. Sagu said we need to exercise more, right?
Yeah.
Because that builds our immunity. But people don't understand this. Exercising detoxes you, but it also builds your endorphins right here. This is why I tell people, this is our IP right here. This is where it's at. This is how we survive this and this. And that's how we're going to survive the storm. I think we should be signing off. We've had some great guests, but we need to plan for tomorrow, be with our families, enjoy our time at home. And Kit, you got any last messages for us?
Just stay calm, stay healthy, and eat the right food. And I urge everyone to stay at home and try to work from home. Namaste from India, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sasha, any last words for us as we sign off?
Stay calm. Watch everything what's happened. Don't rush with any decisions or any actions that you may regret later. And let's have a great day tomorrow, or even
Right.
today.
Live today so we can build and play tomorrow. Many blessings for a bright future, everyone. I thank you for being with us. Ankit, you want to run the outro?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Oops, end the broadcast.